Get onto the bus that's gonna take you back to Beelzebub. Get onto the bus that's gonna make you stop going rub-a-dub. Get onto the bus that's gonna take you back to Beelzebub. Get onto the bus that's gonna make you stop going rub-a-dub. Your words burn the air like the names of candy bars. Your mouth is cold and red, all in rings around your laughing laughs. And it's a grind, 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 it's a grind. Get onto the bus that's gonna take you back to Beelzebub. Get onto the bus that's gonna make you stop going rub-a-dub. Get onto the bus that's gonna take you back to Beelzebub. Get onto the bus that's gonna make you stop going rub-a-dub. I'm scratching raw. Ain't time to stay raw. I drink the drink and I'm raw. I am so trust like I love the wrong bus. I feel I must go do something. Taking the jump with guile. Quadrilateral I was, now I walk like a smile. The yellow number 5, yellow number 5, 5, 5, yellow number 5, yellow number 5, 5, 5, yellow number 5, yellow number 5, 5, 5, yellow number 5, yellow number 5. Voulez-vous the bus? Voulez-vous the bus? Voulez-vous the bus that's gonna take you back to Beelzebub? Voulez-vous the bus that's gonna make you stop going rub-a-dub? Voulez-vous the it's a grind, 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 it's a grind. Yellow number 5, 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 yellow number
Well, how do you do, everyone? It's been a little while since I've done a little reading stream, and I kind of miss it. I really do kind of miss it. I do kind of like the I'm hurrying. All right, so let me set the scene. All right, so the first thing we're going to read is called Biden and Trump, Part 1. Can Biden play golf? I mean, I believe he can, but Trident fanfic. It's got, oh, by the way, there is someone who wanted to come along. Let me Let me let her on. Okay. Hang on. All right. Waiting on the call. She'll be here any second. A little frog wanted to be on this with me this time. Come on. Come on. Come on. What if I have to call? Maybe I'll start the call. Well, all right. Well, Frog, whenever you're ready, just give me a call and we'll start this. But in the meantime, let me go and get the background music. Oh, there you are. Okay, that's better.
Okay.
Hey.
This is not good. Okay.
All right. Good. I was wondering where my froggy friend was. So. Oh yeah. Let me make sure that I got this set to. I don't want everyone to see all my messages, so let me just put on a thing. All right, good. Now, let me send you the thing that we're going to be reading. It is called Biden and Trump Part 1, Can Biden Play Golf? Let's go. So,
Please.
you're going to love this. It has so many things in it. It has unresolved sexual tension, sexual fantasy, romantic soulmates, daddy kink, humiliation, alpha, Joe Biden.
Meat. Yeah, okay.
For those who need therapy but can't afford therapy, sub Donald Trump, slobbering on meat, fluff, Biden ex-Trump, anal sex, anal fisting, rough oral sex, gay sex. I mean, that's kind of implied at this point.
Wonderful. Drop it in the chat.
All right, and... oh yeah, and so, oh right, whoops. Yeah, I forgot. Wrong chat, man.
Yeah, I have to be able to see it.
Yeah, all right. Whoops. Oh, I'm just all over the place. We know what we're doing. Trust us. We're professionals here. So we've got threesome FMM probing in the anus for some gold. This is biologically possible. I've tested it, and let the doubters test for themselves. So while we're doing this, let me put on the background music. We want the nice little cat reading the book. So we got a cat reading a book. There he is. And just so that everyone knows, this is called Soulful Rhythms, A Cat's Tranquil Escape. Peaceful lo-fi to read and unwind. Spring vibes. So there we go. So now, I say it is time to begin this. I am just so thrilled. All right, so summary. I have a wonderful little first installment of this fanfic for you this festive season, just with our favorite men, Biden and Trump. Biden returns from the presidential debate contemplative. Trump doesn't know what's in store for him, nor that there is a special appearance of another character. If you want a cozy romance about two men exploring each other's bodies, something you can read at fireside with a bathrobe and a cup of hot chocolate, then let these two young gentlemen take you on a journey. Is this brief and lustful meeting, or the beginning of a beautiful and eternal love story? Time to find out, I guess, because I know the answer and you don't. So.
Okay, just FYI, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of fucking in this. So
I think that this is.
Watch.
I hope that. Oh, let me make sure that you're nice and loud. But yeah, I hope you're all ready for the fucking. That's kind of you kind of have to come to expect this. This is just how things are, and let's get ready. So, who would like to?
Yeah, I want to be Trump. I want to see if I can do my Trump. Yeah.
All right. I guess I'll start with. I guess the first paragraph is Joe Biden.
Yes. I don't know.
I don't think he knows what he said, were the words that lingered in Joe's mind long after he walked off that debate. He sat down in contemplation. Wait, let me turn up my mic a little bit. Okay. Like a man who was about to think. His feet felt fuzzy and his hands were becoming numb, so sitting was definitely the right option here. He briefly assumed a philosopher's pose before the door was unlocked. He jolted and looked up like a defenseless old man, his eyes filling with pools of pupil, just like how a drop of black paint will spread when dropped into a little bit of clear water. That's how his irises filled with pupil when he saw the door. It was that familiar. It was that familiar face, slicked back greasy hair, swaying turkey neck, and a sexy smirk. And the lips of hot pink, those beautiful lips that looked as like a candy wrapper was straightened out, and pink that came from no lipstick but from something else entirely. The real man has arrived, Donald Trump. He walked in like he owned that side of the room. This music is great, by the way, for this. He commanded respect and sometimes received it from certain peculiar people. All right, I think
You did well out there. He rasped his tone like a Linkin Park fan after a concert. You took my advice.
Advice? Joe questioned, raising an eyebrow.
Powering down, to conserve battery was a brilliant idea.
It was your idea.
Brilliant idea, yes, very brilliant.
And yet, you still asked about my golf, said Joe, with a strangely irate voice, rasping in and out of audibility.
Your golf?
My skills,
Yes, your skills, I didn't...
Didn't mean to, began Joe, looking him dead in the pupil again and beginning to tremble into an intimidating stand. I'm sure you didn't. We'd made a deal. That was a one-time mistake.
Yes, master.
Donald Trump calls Joe Biden master.
Master, sure.
This is getting good. Joe Biden licked his lips menacingly. I play golf very well indeed. I know how to spot a hole, and I certainly know how to put something in it. But before Trump could answer, Biden, with the poise and elegance of an elephant balancing on one leg, leapt upon Trump magically and fairy-like, tearing open his coat and popping the buttons open on his shirt. Trump was filled with a strange pleasure, and just like an ox, was now very horny. He didn't even bother with Biden's belt buckle. He just tore off the pants with all his might. The belt flew off, fluttering away like a lone bird towards the sunset, or like Indiana Jones at the end of the trilogy. He could see the dick through Biden's SpongeBob boxers. It was throbbing, and Trump, ravenous, pulled it down fully. Biden's scepter came out like a cobra out of a pot. Oh, do you want to read this one?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Why not? This is where my life has led to at this point.
I put you on the screen finally. You have a little frog with a hat now.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
On that cute note, Biden's scepter came out like a cobra out of a pot. Now you got me fucked up if you think this little skin flute is like other girls. She was not like the other girls in any way. She had been 80 times around the sun and was wiser than any other. It looked a little like if you scrunch up a piece of paper real hard and try to flatten it again, or like the crust that forms on milk when it gets spoiled and slightly discolored. Sexy. It had a vibrant greenish hue on its underside from a fungal frat party that Biden unfortunately was not invited to. And it had smegma oozing like little white heads from its every crevice, looking like the greasy fat that falls in lumps from an old burger that you squeeze too hard. There were creases all along its 4-inch shaft, and it converged into a blackish head, which was slightly textured from warts, looking like a bubbling liquid or a cauliflower head. It also had the most delicious smell. It smelled like having a drunk person vomit on your shirt and then having to wait until you reach home, letting those half-digested foods fester and grow a bacterial culture on your shirt. And it had little tough, crooked hairs sprouting like shoots of plants coated with some kind of thick and gooey greenish slime, which plastered some of the hairs to the shaft itself, cruelly depriving them of the dance party that the others were having. It began to awaken, and Biden was getting bricked up. But it couldn't go straight up. No, like I said, she was not like other girls. this little finger began to poke its little head up, slowly looking around like a hand under the couch groping for car keys, or a hand fitting slowly into a glove. Of course, Trump was just mesmerized, as it had the most angelic beauty to it.
Aren't you glad you read that paragraph, Freggy?
I'm so happy. You have my life is complete now that I've read about Biden's rancid penis.
Rancid smells like drunk man vomit.
Yeah.
Do you want to keep reading, or do you want me to start reading this part?
You keep reading, and if there's a paragraph you want to punish me with, yeah,
Okay.
Pick one.
He dolphin dove into it and began sucking it raw. How many licks to get to the center of this candy? He thought. So Trump throated Biden's trusty tree trunk through and truly through, and Joe reached his spidery and wrinkly fingers to the back of Trump's head. The kneeling man had only one fearful thought, and he couldn't even think it before Biden pulled his head towards the hips and shoved the whole sausage down Trump's gullet. He pressed it there for some seconds, and Trump's gullet began convulsing as it tried for gasps, opening and closing like a flower trying to bloom, and his hands and legs flailed wildly, but the grip was of iron, if the iron was wrapped with old saggy and moist cloths. Trump's eyes widened as his throat began to bulge slightly, and his face turned a strange purple, the color a leaf would turn as it's on the brink of death. This was no doubt the product of his orange skin turning blue. Go ahead, read the next one.
Oh, okay. In response, Biden pressed harder as if he wanted to merge Trump into his hip. Now Trump was fully panicked and beginning to lose his vision as his head became lighter and lighter, colder and colder. His nose began to get crushed on Biden's flaking body. Now it's time for you to power down, growled Biden in his octogenarian voice. Trump's dusty, crusty vocal box could only manage some muffled gurgles and moans in response as he slowly began to lose consciousness.
I'll start.
Okay.
But suddenly, Biden yanked the head and tore his dick out of the man, sending Trump crumbling on the floor, sputtering and gasping with saliva stringing from his lips and tears gushing from his eyes. Trump couldn't move for some time as he coughed up his lungs and hawked up blood on the floor. The stinging pain of his throat made him shiver with excitement and adrenaline, and he glanced back at Biden, smirking with dark red teeth. "Now who's been a naughty boy?" asked Biden. I have, squealed Trump, gasping and sputtering blood mixed with saliva, showering the floor. "You have you? Do you need to be punished?" "Yes," he cried again, and again, taking a large breath, tears tearing down his face. "Yes, please punish me, please." "Shut the fuck up, you bitch," Biden shrieked like a banshee's wail, as he began waddling over to him, tearing off his own remaining clothes. "Yes, who?" "Yes, Daddy Biden," he moaned hungrily. "Yes, Daddy Biden." Biden without his clothes is like Einaudi, I don't know who that is, Einaudi without access to a piano. Both are how God intended things to be. But this is not the utopia we live in, so feast your eyes while you can.
I'll
Go ahead, Braggy.
On you. His naked body was much like a stick figure being draped in an old crust blanket. As he waddled, his little meat scepter slapped from side to side on his hips. His skin was populated by little hairs of mostly white, but occasionally of all the colors of the rainbow poking out in random places. But occasionally of... Oh, okay. I'm losing my mind. There were larger folds in his skin under which lived thriving communities of fungal infections, sheltered by extra growths of hair and clumps of dead skin glued to the body by hardened grime. Some of these fungal folk had been so advanced in civilization as to invent entirely new colors, unknown to the human race. There were splotches of white on his skin, sometimes accompanied by boils, glistening from the stretched skin which lovingly embraced the golden nectar of pus that lay under it. These boils had been allowed to grow. Biden had not popped them. You see, he had a soft spot for Trump deep down, and he knew what things Trump so desired to do.
So there he stood. He was like a strange and beautiful creature from another world, yet so strikingly human. He was so hot. Trump bounced around, tearing off his pants fully, revealing his AA battery-sized weapon that he kept hidden from the public most of the time. "Fuck me, fuck me, fuck me," he cried in a high voice, still bounding around. "Fuck me!" And he turned around, wiggling his cake to Biden. Now Trump was caked up. And not just cake. He had the whole damn bakery back there. He had not only the best words in the country, but by far the best ass in the States. Outside the States, he might have competition, like Stravinsky, for example. His ass looked exactly like leavened dough. It was pale and had almost indiscernible bluish spots at some places. It had some lumps, looking like bubbles, which he popped in his spare time, giggling to himself. As much as Biden would want that 2 sweet slabs of dough all to himself, Trump's cake belonged to the streets. 20 cents and it's all yours for 30 minutes. And he'll soon lower the rate to make America great again, so don't worry. But today, it was all Biden's, and he glared at it menacingly as Trump wiggled it at him. So he cocked his cock and dove right at it, shoving it straight into the goal and pumping it as quickly as his 80-year-old joints could move. With each pump, the little lumps on Trump's ass burst, sounding like bubble wrap and painting Joe's hips with a bright and delicious yellow color. "Ah!" was what Trump's cry of ecstasy sounded like. It went higher in pitch the faster Biden went. All right, take it away, Preggy.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, I was just listening to this in horror. Biden's joints were creaking like an old wooden chair, but he looked past the pain. Trump could feel the little snake wriggle a little inside him as Biden went deeper. It was not enough to just be on the surface, no. Biden had to push in there and pull out Trump's meal from yesterday. Trump lashed out his right hand and grasped the wall, scratching with his fingernails, and Biden pushed him further and further forward with each thrust. And Trump's eyes began to roll back, just as he was about to reach enlightenment. Then he felt Biden's moist and Play-Doh-like fingers cup the underside of his chin and pull him back to get more force with each thrust. This is where Trump's ecstasy began to spike. Just like how when you fold bread with a lot of jam and butter, the jam trickles out, that's how the pre-cum was trickling out of Trump's little stub of a dick. Biden was fucking him, pardon me, Biden was fucking him with great rhythm. It was like the first fugue in Beethoven's Grosse Fuge. Fuck. Ugh! Were Biden's grunts at this point, if he wanted to know.
If he wanted to know.
As he cupped Trump's chin and bent him backwards, while still fucking his ass, Trump could feel the warm breath with each grunt from Biden. Each puff of the breath could almost encrust itself on his face, and each was beautifully odorous. And then, with Trump bending on his back like the letter C, or like the Soviet Union symbol, the arch is his back, and the sharp point is the ass getting fucked. Okay, I think I get it. And Biden coming closer to his face while pumping into the colon, he leaned forth towards the face even more. He presses his lips on... Okay, now we're pressed his lips on Trump's upside-down face. Each of their lips felt like kissing soft clay, if the clay also smelt like an old fish that was left to decay.
That rhymed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They began to share a passionate kiss, and the gurgling sounds from their throats, with Biden's throbbing throat made it almost look like Biden was an algae cleaner sucking fungus from an aquarium. It was beautiful.
All right, I want to take over.
Yeah.
And suddenly, when Biden thrust it in further, Trump felt so much ecstasy. He jolted and slipped some tongue. Wait, all right, so hover down to S. How long is this? Why, you want it to be over already? We just started. It is
I want it to be over.
5,152 words, so it's not that long. All right, so, it slipped some tongue. Ooh.
Let's do something a little bit more. The next one, let's do something a little bit more wholesome.
Oh, okay. I have just the thing for that. Ooh, Biden moaned, half muffled into Trump's oral cavity. I wasn't expecting that, you naughty boy. And Trump giggled as they slipped some more tongue into each other, cleaning each other's teeth and licking the grime from many months of not brushing well. And suddenly, as Trump was about to climax, Biden shoved in the furthest he'd gone then and pulled out with some finesse. Just like a Monday, Trump's balls were very blue. They only heard a splat on the floor when Biden whipped out his dick. Their faces were still glued to each other. However, as Trump twisted his head like a DJ turntable and righted his bent body to face Biden, they hugged each other and continued making out passionately. This is a very long sex scene. But then Biden dropped down, pulling Trump with him as they looked at what Biden had found with his cock cooking in the colon. The ground was splattered with a brownish green slime, somewhat lumpy and glistening. It was clustered in some parts, and there was a pale brown murky liquid pooling around the various clumps. And in other parts, it was colored with fresh blood. Each clump was like its own planet. It was pretty much encased in a slimy and shiny glue, and inside it was like a snow globe. There were strings of yellowish white particles of light green, but mostly with fudge-like brown chunks. In some, if you look close enough, you could see tapeworms or smaller swimming microbes. It was Trump's meal from yesterday that Biden had pulled out as promised. I'm kind of wondering how long this is too.
I had lunch before this. I'm regretting that decision.
It kind of just goes on and on, doesn't it? All right, let me see.
Yeah,
Wow.
well,
Okay, so
yeah.
it's only one page,
I mean,
thankfully.
I guess Kamala Harris comes in, stuff happens.
Okay, let's see here.
We skip the poop eating for the love of all that is holy.
Oh yeah. All right. So let's skip.
Yeah.
Trump recoiled to take a pardon the pun, but I'm willing to veto this one if you want to move on to something else.
Yeah. I'm not. This is ridiculous.
I'm making an executive decision to veto this one. Alrighty, it sounds good. I mean, it kind of just goes on and on. Don't skip. Oh, I'm sorry, hover down. Oh, do you want us to continue? Because we will.
The things we do for you guys.
Okay, all right. All right. Do you still have it open? Well, I could just click on the.
I do have it open.
All right, okay. All right, tell you what. Let's continue. Okay. Where were we?
We were eating poop. That's where we were.
Okay, yeah, that's we were eating poop, of course.
I dove down and licked up some scraps of it.
The ground was okay. With gusto, Biden dove down and licked up some scraps of it. It was still warm and had a sharp sting to it, which he'd always liked. And then he looked up to Trump, grinning as his tongue smeared the slime across his teeth, coloring them completely brown. Bon appetit, he whispered. No more was needed. Trump leapt onto him, like a wife reuniting with her husband after many years, and began making out furiously, licking the meal of Biden's teeth and swallowing it eagerly. Biden's tongue played defense, but it was no match for Trump's young whippersnapper of a tongue. Trump's tongue was a whole lot stronger and licked it all up within a few seconds, and he pulled back, licking his lips and smiling. "Let's eat," said Trump, his voice somewhat destroyed and strained. But Biden needed no invitation. He was lapping up the bits from the floor. So was Trump, and he felt a jitter of excitement every time his tongue rolled on the cold and dusty floor, then met with the brown ooze. It had a somewhat more bitter taste now that it had cooled, with notes of iron-like blood and cold, runny eggs, the consistency of boiled lettuce and water, and the sensation of popping candy as you could almost feel the bacterial colony open a nightclub in your mouth. Want to take over, Frankie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I'm gonna kill you all though. Okay, who is this? Hoverdam? I'm going to fucking find you. Alright. While Trump was still trying to lick off a particularly stubborn stain, he gasped in sudden exhilaration. He felt some fingers tickling his butthole. He reacted somewhat like how you would react if you found an extra nugget in your McNuggets bag.
Ooh.
Oh, Joe, he panted again. Daddy, please, go deeper. And he turned around. But Biden was still licking, both his hands supporting his weight. No, these were not Joe's hands. They didn't have that special touch. He turned. Kamala Harris.
Oh, no.
Oh boy, Trump recoiled in shock, and a strange smile grew on his face, showing his now blackened teeth. She began to push her fingers into his asshole. He loved her smirk, where he didn't know where she could go next. Aw, she said, look at you guys. People are really starting to ship the Trident. It's so... Trident? Said Joe, smirking and in his raspy voice. My name always goes first. It's Bidump. Come on, Donald Duck, let's show her why we call it the Bidump.
Trump didn't need a second call. He hopped out of his spot, sucking his quivering asshole in, and Biden facilitated this maneuver by grasping Trump's face and placing it under his throbbing abdomen. He felt the warm touch of Trump's lips on the rim of his asshole and shivered with a sensual pleasure that shot upwards through him. They were cocked and ready, literally. Just breathing in the fumes were enough to start the machine. They both felt some rumbling. Biden was atop, sitting on Trump's face, while Trump was abottom in a squatted position like a microscope, if the microscope was inspecting directly where Trump's rectum was aiming. Biden... It's horrible.
I know. What the fuck?
Look, everyone who's in chat right now, you saw what I wrote on the scrolling thing at the top, right?
Yeah.
Like during the waiting thing. I warned you guys, all right? I don't say I didn't warn you that these are bad, okay? So, while Trump was Trump rubbed Biden's belly and felt it squirm, and soon enough, he could feel the trickling into his mouth as he sucked up hard. The warm mush came out from Biden, directly funneled into Trump's mouth, which he swallowed immediately, feeling his own abdomen rumbling, and thus, Trump's rectum also got to work, beginning to thrust out its own black diarrheal mush, but this time directly onto the floor. It shot out like a paintball gun, unlike Biden's, which trickled downward lazily. Trump could feel the acrid taste in his mouth as it burned his throat on its way down, but his lips made an airtight seal, and he began to feel dizzy and panicked. His face began to turn the purple color again as Biden's expulsion became faster. It felt wonderful. Trump stuck his tongue in and began licking it before it even came out. It was like a little worm, poking out to catch the sun before retreating. But here, Biden finished and leapt off from Trump, and began to devour his partner's gift on the floor. Trump beamed at Kamala with giddiness. We take a dump twice, that's why they should call it... We take a dump twice, that's why they should call us Bidump, not Trident. And that pushed Kamala over the edge. That was too hot. She snatched up Biden's golf club standing up the side and threw Trump down with his ass facing up. And with one swift move, like thrusting a poker into a fire, she shoved the golf club head first into the asshole. She began vigorously, and it sounded almost like someone lapping up soup rapidly with their tongue.
He squealed. Ung. He squealed, the corners of his lips trembling and sagging as he twisted them into a smile. His face was red, bulging with veins, his neck throbbing with his arteries, and his eyes watered and became bloodshot as he rolled them back. His whole body began to convulse like a vibrator, and that just made the golf club in him so much more satisfying. He felt her reaching to the depth of his belly button. Ugh, okay. And sure enough, she was. She used the whole length of the club's shaft with each thrust, starting at the head and pumping to her fist. I think that would kill him. The movement got smoother as she ground his insides. And Biden leapt up to him, gagging slightly, unhinged Trump's red jaw. No, possessive there, just multiple Trumps.
Trump's red jaw.
Yeah. Biden felt that slight tickle of something burning in his throat, and a grin crawled over his face. He looked into Trump's gaping black mouth and pressed his open mouth against his. A fiery worm wriggled up his gullet, and he unhinged his own jaw, hawking up a few times. It was like he was thrusting into Trump from the front for a few times, and then the flood of puke came out of his mouth directly into Trump. Thank you, Fresh Coconut. I'm so glad that you're tuning to this.
We live to entertain, yes.
Great.
Okay, I'll take it. All right.
Fucking cry, man. What is this bullshit?
I'll give you. I'll read this so you can take a break to go vomit. Trump's eyes bulged open like red cherries that could be plucked out easily. He gasped frantically, unable to breathe again, as Biden emptied his stomach into his lovers. And when he tore away, Trump began panting heavily with spit and stomach juice swinging from his mouth and hot tears paving its path down his cheeks. He let out a few wheezes, accentuated and made sharper by each thrust from Kamala. But Biden was not satisfied. He looked at the man's face and a strong passion sparked in him. He wanted it back. And with that, he shot his hand into Trump, forcing into his throat. Trump choked, beginning to dry heave. Biden could feel Trump's moist throat close and tighten with each heave. He felt the warm and mushy puke in the stomach, and it felt like mud. Clenching his fist, he tore up a handful of the slime out of Trump and, pulling his whole arm out, splattered it on his face, smearing it around. Kamala also pulled out the golf club, now drenched in a brownish red goo. The asshole let a little bit of the insides peek through, like the rectum was playing peekaboo. Some of his intestines must have followed her club as she yanked it out. It hung outwards like a piece of pink cloth, oozing with a blacking slime. Kamala now had enough of these instruments. She pounced on him and began fingering his butthole again with her hand. Well, yeah, I mean, how else are you gonna finger it with, like, your elbow? Like, I don't know how else, what do we got? And Biden flanked him.
With your toes.
I guess. And Biden flanked him on the other side, ready to make a sandwich. Trump could feel his giddiness grow. He bared his teeth and latched onto Biden's body, sucking hard. Biden moaned and grasped at Trump's cock and began stroking it, and with the other hand, tore off Harris's clothes and began to slowly finger her too. It was a symphony of moaning. Harris was wet, and the moistness of Biden's fingers absorbed her fluids and drank it up. It was like sticking your finger into the damp opening to a drain. He began to stroke Trump more aggressively, and he felt his own pleasure build in his body, like Coke and Mentos together. Trump traveled across the body with his sucking and groped his way down to Biden's dick, using all his grip strength to rub this magical lamp. Suddenly, his lips came upon one of Biden's boils, and instead of sucking, he gently placed his front teeth on it. It was the size of a grape, and the thin skin stretched over the infected pus felt so smooth and glossy. He could feel the tissue squish under the teeth, almost ready to give way. It was so warm. And with the tiniest...
I can do most of this bullshit if you want.
Okay, alright, yeah, I'll take it away, Breggy.
Yeah, okay. Look, I see you suffering there. I had to
pause a few times, you probably heard, right?
Yeah. I wish you could get monetized. I need to get paid for this.
I feel like I deserve something for this.
Yeah. And with the tiniest bit of force, he bursted. A hole tore in the thin tissue enveloping the mush. The warm liquid came gushing into his mouth. The pus flowed thickly, warm and with the consistency of custard. I'm never gonna eat custard again. Thank you. It almost had no taste except for a slight aftertaste. A slightly coarse texture, a slight saltiness that would come upon the tongue after swallowing, with slightly peppery overtones, which would then morph into a hint of sweetness as it was diluted by the saliva. There were small and soft solids in the white pus part which he could squish into nothingness with his tongue against the roof of his mouth. He could even tell when the pus stopped and the blood began. He licked his lips thoroughly and began sucking out the remnants. But he had to stop when Kamala Harris began fisting him, and suddenly directing her other fist into his asshole. He giggled a little, but it gave way to a moan as he felt his asshole stretch wider. He subconsciously quickened his pace on Biden's dick, feeling his forearm muscles burn with the speed. Biden's warm moaning exhales fell on his nape, and he could almost smell the breath. It made him intoxicated. He came upon another boil, but he couldn't savor it. Kamala Harris's speed and ferocity shoved him forward, causing it to splatter on his face. She had both her forearms deep in his colon now, and she was rubbing with the entire arm. A strange liquid began exiting from his anus as well. He felt it coldly trickle down his ass crack and then pick a thigh to drip down. Biden began shaking, and he rested on Trump as he began to feel the pleasure pulse through his veins with each bite from Trump, with each rough movement of Trump's hands. Now, Kamala Harris was shoulder deep and beginning to insert her legs into Trump's asshole, propping it open with her two hands as it sagged like a loose bag. It wasn't long before she managed to get her shins in it and then her thighs, scrubbing Trump's insides like she was cleaning a toilet. Each rub took a layer of some jelly-like substance, like scrubbing wet soil and pulled up mud.
I gotta read this next part. Holy fuck, this is getting insane. Trump felt himself in a frenzy. Something awoke in him. He rubbed Biden's cock so violently, just like old hard bread, it fell off completely. There was a dark red oozing socket where it broke off. The pubic tubercle? I don't know what that word is.
I don't know.
Tubercle could be seen poking its little head out, yellowish white, and the whitish and fibrous nerve ending stuck out, almost making it look like a Velcro hoop patch. Biden yelled with a guttural tone and unsurpassed exhilaration and shook like he was convulsing. Trump felt the ecstasy transfer to him and began to howl as well. "Oh, Donald," said Kamala in a moan, "I just want to get so close to you. I want you to feel me inside you." Donald threw his head up in the air, tightly closing his eyes, and let out a guttural moan of pleasure. Sorry, there, he didn't write just let out guttural moan. His grip loosened and dropped the broken off dick into Kamala's hands. With her legs and hands in Trump's asshole, she propped it open and thrust her head in there too. She soon tugged her full torso into the colon and stretched out her arms in the dark, damp, and moist colon, finding Trump's arms from inside. She could see some light through Trump's thin skin, and it became difficult to breathe as her nostrils kept falling onto his rectal and intestinal walls, scooping the dark red jelly. It wrapped mostly around her like very snug cling wrap. Everything was mostly dark colored with various yellowish splotches or greenish growths. She stretched out her limbs like she was trying to fit into one-piece pajamas. She stepped her whole body into him and outstretched her hands into his, her legs into his, and finally thrust her head nearly to his, wearing him like a meat suit. I don't think this is included in the 20-cent 30-minute deal. That only gets you the best ass in the States. I don't know what the going rate is to wear him like a flesh Udi. She bit the base end of the torn-off cock at the bit with crooked hairs, and, like the head of a pigeon or a chicken while they walk, cranked her head up and began pecking up with her dick beak into Trump's brain, thrusting the tip into this noodly organ from the bottom. Trump felt a little shiver and, moaning with pleasure, began rubbing his hands in and out to finger Biden's new hole where his dick once was. Take it away, Freggy.
You know how like some Redditor people will say like, "Oh, the brain is the best erogenous zone." This is like taking it literally.
I'd say so.
Yeah. The brain was very still and squishy. Each hard peck with her dick beak felt like shoving into a graying jelly. It began to ooze a kind of dark red and spreading blotch, dripping from the point where she was pecking at, which made her grin and bite harder on the dick. Each thrust tugged at his optic nerves and pulled his eyeballs in slightly, so Biden saw his rolled back eyes pull in rhythmically, with the baggy eyelids flapping down heavily every time they withdrew, like frightened rats. Just FYI, attention seeker, me too. My brain really is not keeping track of what the fuck is going on here, but I'm kind of scared.
Yeah, it's like I'm kind like I know it's happening, but it's like as I'm reading this stuff, I think I'm mentally trying not to visualize it. Like I'm really like it's just censor bars just on top of censor bars.
Yeah. Kamala Harris built it up into a vigorous thrust to begin brain fucking her puppet from inside, as Trump and Biden shared another passionate kiss. This time, their lips slapped together, wrinkling the skin around it, and Biden shot out his tongue down Trump's throat like a frog. Ugh, man. Forcing its way to Kamala Harris. Trump's throat throbbed like a thin hose about to burst. Harris screamed with pleasure inside as Biden's tongue wrapped around his own dick in her mouth, which was fucking Trump's brain. And Trump now had his eyeballs roll back, his jaw unhinged, his gullet hawking, choking, gagging as if he was dry heaving, his skin stretched onto his cheeks to accommodate the jaw, and it almost looked like paper mache. Biden raised his finger to stroke it, flaking the dead skin off. It felt almost like stroking a floury and unleavened dough. Biden then outstretched his arm, and fingered Trump's and Harris's butthole, singular butthole, which is actually what's happening. Yeah,
they have the same body now.
They have one butthole. While Trump began fisting Biden's hole, and this was the final bit of action that they needed. Trump felt himself close, his skin bobbing in and out from Kamala's movements inside like the surface of a really thick soup boiling. Suddenly, they all came at once. A full-body, earth-shaking orgasm as they all seized up and convulsed for a whole 15 seconds. The exhilaration shot through every artery and coursed through their beautiful bodies. Kamala Harris exploded with a muffled scream as Biden's cock in her mouth shot out globs of his wonderful, magical seed. It looked like spoiled melted cheese, the way it was slightly off-white and lumpy, and it shot upwards into Trump's brain, joining and sloshing with the other semen already in there from previous exciting instances of such debauchery. Biden's fuzzy hole also began to ooze with white seed, looking like if you tried to squeeze a sponge filled with milk and raw eggs mixed together. Trump, also dribbling from his penis, giggled and stuck it into Biden's hole as it throbbed there, shooting electricity into each of their bodies. And then, Trump gave birth to Kamala Harris through his asshole, and all the juices slid out with her, splish-splashing on the floor and making a real ruckus. She giggled at them as they all panted and sighed as the orgasm passed over them slowly. You want to finish this off?
I'll finish this off. Trump fell back into his own juice as Biden fell over him, looking deep into his eyes. Trump took the dick from Kamala and waved it as his opponent. Waved it at his opponent. No, it says waved it as his opponent. You want it? Nah, Biden replied. You keep it. You've earned it. And Trump's head fell back as he smiled gently, letting the sunlight from the window wash over his body. He hawked up some of the blood and cum left over in his throat and licked them onto his lips, making them a beautiful hot pink color, ready for his next public appearance. His mouth sagged on either side again like an upturned smile, stretched from the force of Biden's cock. He loved this feeling and how it would remind him of the position he'd been in just a short while ago. He shook his head a little, smiling as he felt the cum slosh around in his head, and then made a mental note on how to irritate Biden by bringing up golf again later. The end. Man. So that was that. Let me, here, let's just... Look at the cat. Look at the nice little cat reading the book.
I want to look at the cat.
Just look at the cat.
I
Here.
wanna see the cat.
You know what, Frankie? I'm going to send you a link to the cat so you can see the cat too.
Okay.
Here you go.
The cute cat.
Just look at the cute little cat. There you go.
I'm gonna cry.
There you go, Fraggy. You can look at the cat.
Oh, look at the kitty cat.
Look at the cute little cat reading. He's just...
Aw,
I know, he just...
little guy.
See, he's not reading anything like this. He's probably just reading, like, I don't know, something nice, like Watership Down or Plague Dogs or, you know, Old Yeller or, you know, just something nice like that.
Night, Ty.
Hey, good night. Good night, Ty. Thank you for being witness to that horrific thing that we both had to go and make ourselves read. Hope you feel better.
Well, the good news is that, you know, I had my lunch, but now I'm no longer thinking of dinner. So
yeah, you know, maybe you'll just you'll have some leftovers for later. I guess your lunch is gonna last a little longer. Here, this one is called Mario and Luigi Sonic Speed. I honestly did a little like look through of this one, and it just looks like a nice little. I think it might just be like a nice normal fanfic that's just like probably written by a kid who just likes Sonic. So let's just read that. It's just a nice little kind of sweet little normal nice thing. General audiences, no archive warnings, crossover, family bonding, friendship.
I'm concerned.
Why? I
am concerned that there's a child writing fanfic on this site. I really just get away from AO3, kid. For the love of God.
I'm kind of wondering. I mean, if that's allowed on there, I don't know what the fuck is allowed on there. So
there's a lot of really fucked up shit. We just read it. We just read what was the fucked up shit that's allowed on AO3.
And I don't even think that's the worst of it. But it may be the worst thing we read tonight. I'll give it that.
Probably.
So yeah, here we go. It's just all these characters, family bonding, crossover pairings, friendship. There you go. It's just a little palate cleanser. Let's just read this one. Mario and Luigi, Sonic Speed. Summary. The Sonic and Mario fuse together, leading to Bowser and Eggman to team up to try and best Sonic and Mario. Leading to Bowser and Eggman to team up to try and best Sonic and Mario. Oh, okay, I get it. All right, okay. Bowser and Egg to best. I think. All right, I get it now. I had to read it.
Yeah, I get it.
All right. No, it's Mr.
So are Bowser and Eggman gonna merge then? Like, are they gonna fuse as well, like Sonic and Mario did?
I guess so. Yeah. So I guess we're gonna see like that, and it looks like it's one page. So let's just read this nice little story that's probably written by a kid.
Okay.
I'll start.
Okay.
A storm rages outside of one of the many bases Eggman had built over the years. Currently, Eggman is walking through one of his hallways with Sage, his AI daughter, floating beside him while giving him a status report. How many did we lose? Eggman said as he pinches his nose bridge. Around 200 robots, Sage answers in her usual monotone voice. Sigh. I swear the total just seems to grow every time I fight that blasted hedgehog. Eggman says as he reaches his office and sits down at his desk. I'll start preparing a new plan for attack. Wait, no, that's Sage. I'll start preparing a new plan for attack, Father, Sage says before disappearing. Eggman sits alone in his office trying to come up with his own plan to finally end Sonic the Hedgehog. As he sits there, he starts to think of the same handful of ideas. Use the Chaos Emerald. Sonic will just find a way to collect them before he even gets out the door. Go after the Master Emerald. While the Emerald is superior to the one Chaos Emerald, if Sonic were to get the rest of the emeralds, he would just be on even ground. Before Eggman could even think of his third idea, the ground starts to violently shake. A message appears on all the monitors within the base. Warning! Extreme Chaos Energy readings. Seek cover immediately. The message goes through all the speakers within the base. Eggman crawls under his desk and tries to wait the event. However, the shaking only gets more violent. Beakers and other fragile objects fall from their places on Eggman's many shelves, causing them to crash to the floor and break. Suddenly, everything starts to float as everything starts to get brighter and brighter, and then everything goes dark. It's so innocent, I love it. When Eggman wakes up, his base is in ruins. There is now a hole in the roof, and everything within his office is broken. Ugh, this is going to be one hell of a mess to clean up, Eggman says as he lifts himself up and makes his way out of the base. Take it away, Freg.
Okay. Eggman walks through the base, noticing how damaged everything is. Entire rooms crushed after their roofs collapsed onto them. Eventually, Eggman makes it outside where he finds Sage waiting for him. Father. Sage runs toward Eggman and hugs him tightly. Even though my base is destroyed, at the very least you're still here, Eggman says as he pats her on the back. Alright, let's gain some ground. We might be able to get an understanding of what exactly happened. Give me a status report on the other bases, Eggman says as they start making their way away from the base. As they walk, they notice how the environment around the base is completely different from last night. The base was located in the heart of a jungle, and now they're...
a possessive there.
In the middle of a beach. How strange. How strange. It seems that the chaos energy may have transported us to a new location. Or perhaps the energy transformed the environment around us? Eggman says as they make their way across the beach. Father, I can sense Metal is close. His location tracking seems to be coming from over there. Possessive there.
Same one.
Yeah. Sage points to a small bulge in the sand. Sage and Eggman approach the bulge and see the top half of Metal Sonic partially buried in the sand. Eggman grabs hold of Metal's quills and pulls him out of the sand. Metal Sonic lands on the ground with a thud, his eyes slowly glowing to life. Metal slowly pulls himself to his feet and lands in front of Eggman and Sage.
Alright, me.
No periods.
My turn.
Okay.
Alright. It seems that... I know, like... I love it. I love it. It's... really, it's a nice palate cleanser.
Yeah.
It seems that Metal was heavily damaged during last night. He'll need some serious repairs when we get the chance. It appears that most of his functions are too damaged to Oh, it's a Sage speaking. I can't tell. Most of his functions are too damaged to properly work. Sage says as she floats around Metal. Once Sage finishes her... starts a sentence with a lowercase once. I love it. It's perfect. It's like a 12-year-old wrote this. Yeah. Once Sage finishes her scan, Metal collapses to the ground, completely out of power. Guess we'll have to see if we can find a base that wasn't as damaged during whatever happened last night, Eggman says as he picks Metal up and starts carrying him. Eggman and Sage, with Metal strapped to Eggman's back, proceed to start hiking, trying to make it to the nearest base, roughly 10 kilometers away. Soon, the bright beach becomes a lush forest. The distant sounds of birds and other such animals are all that can be heard. Despite the walk, it's oddly peaceful. Too peaceful. And then, all of a sudden, all noises in the jungle becomes dead silent. A predator
Lovely.
must... I love it. Yeah, that's English. A predator must be nearby, Sage. How close are we to the base? Eggman says, ready to sprint at any moment. Roughly 1 kilometer away, Father, Sage says while pointing straight ahead. Perfect. We can patch up Metal and then get a proper look around. Eggman starts walking again, but stops midway as he hears a sound from behind him. Eggman and Sage turn around and see a shine of something metallic peeking from behind a bush. Slowly, the creature reveals itself, revealing that it's a giant black ball with large sharp teeth and a chain on its back. The creature roars before beginning to charge at Eggman and Sage, both of whom start sprinting as fast as they can. Eggman and Sage rush through the forest, running in between trees, which soon get destroyed. The beast slowly starts to catch up to Eggman, and just before it's able to bite down on Eggman, he jumps into the base, and Sage slams the door down to seal Eggman inside. Take it away, Freg.
Alright. The beast roars and bites at the door before eventually moving away, allowing Sage and Eggman to finally catch some breath and start working on repairing metal. Eggman places metal on a bench and starts searching for tools around the base. Sage, jumpstart the power for me, Eggman says while picking up the many tools on the ground. Sage nods before disappearing, allowing Eggman to begin his repairs. Eggman pops open Metal's body and starts dumping out sand into a bucket. Eventually, the power eventually turns on as Sage returns. Father, I scouted around and saw a kingdom in the distance. Once Metal is repaired, we could head there and gain some information. Sage hands Eggman a screwdriver so he can pop open Metal's
multiple metals.
Yeah, Metal's back, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's my girl, grab one of the Eggmobiles for me and make sure it's ready when we leave, Eggman says, while putting on a new cover on Metal's, again, obsessive, front and back. Sage nods and moves to the garage. Eggman finishes the repairs on Metal and replaces his battery, allowing him to turn on. There we go. Now it's time to show that giant ball what happens when you mess with Dr. Robotnik! Eggman laughs as the door opens and Metal runs out. Eggman steps out of the base with his arms behind his back. The giant ball reappears from the bushes and launches at Eggman, only for Metal to catch the beast by the chain and slam it into several trees before picking it up again, flying up into the air and throwing the beast hundreds of kilometers away. So long, beast, Eggman says before bursting into a manic laugh. Sage lands in front of Eggman inside the Eggmobile. Eggman and Metal, lowercase, step inside of the vehicle and fly off toward the kingdom Sage saw. Once in the sky, Eggman looks across the landscape. The world has completely changed. There were still parts of the world he once knew. There were still the hundreds of loops across the ground, but everything was far more colorful. Normal mountains are now replaced with strange spherical structures that could hardly be called a mountain. Mountains with strips and some with eyes? Sage, what is the percentage chance that this is all a concussion-fueled hallucination? Eggman questions as he leans back against his chair. Sage processes for a moment before replying, 60% father. No comma, just 60% father.
60% father.
60. Oh god, that tells you something about Sage.
What's the other? What's the other 40% then, huh?
Oh, you know what? I think Sonic is the 40% father.
Oh.
I think that's what Sage comes from.
They should go on Maury Povich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Metal makes a sound signifying that the Eggmobile is close enough to the kingdom to land. Can you do this?
I would love to. Eggman lands the... Alright, let me try to make this dramatic. Eggman lands the Eggmobile at the center of the kingdom, right next to a fountain. Fascinating. It appears that this kingdom is populated with humanoid mushroom men. Eggman looks around and sees that these creatures have managed to repair a large amount of the kingdom that was damaged from last night. If I didn't know any better, I would have thought this place was practically untouched. Note to self, see if I can power Batniks using these creatures. Eggman approaches a nearby shop and enters. Mario, when did you get so... Oh, no, this is...
Mario, when did you get so tall?
The mushroom creature running to the shop screeches.
Wait a minute. You're not Mario. You must be his father or something.
The creature says before returning to sweeping the floor. Sorry, who's Mario, and also, what are you? Eggman questions. The creature smiles widely.
You must be new around here. I am a Toad, like my brothers. If you talk to anyone else, just call him Toads. As for Mario, he's the greatest hero in the Mushroom Kingdom. Him and his brother Luigi saved Princess Peach all the time from King Bowser.
Eggman groans slightly. Great, another hero. Wait, who's this Bowser guy? The Toad laughs slightly.
Wow, you really know nothing about this land. King Bowser is the greatest villain alive. He's kidnapped the princess multiple times across the years. He has conquered the planet multiple times and even the galaxy.
Eggman smirks slightly before preparing to leave.
What a horrible person. Which way does he live? Just so I avoid him.
The Toad goes through a nearby drawer and pulls out a map.
Stay away from the northeast of the kingdom. You can tell it's his kingdom by his face on the castle.
Eggman takes a map and begins leaving.
Thank you so much for the knowledge, my annoying guide.
The Toad simply smiles as Eggman leaves.
What a strange Italian.
Nice. Eggman takes off on his Eggmobile towards Bowser's castle.
A man who also puts his face on his work and tries to conquer the planet? Truly a man after my own heart.
Sage hovers next to Eggman before talking. Father, are you sure you should team up with this Bowser? You don't exactly have a good track record with team-ups, even with your own robots. Eggman pats Sage on the head. And reassures her.
Don't worry, Sage. We will be ready for any betrayals. Plus, this guy has someone similar to Sonic. If I help him with that, I'll have his loyalty.
I'll do the rest.
Okay.
Okay. Eggman lands his ship at the front gate of Bowser's castle, no possessives. Metal by his side, ready to defend Eggman if necessary. The gate swings open, allowing Eggman to enter the throne room, where soldiers are hard at work repairing internal damage, while Bowser sits on his throne watching. Eggman clears his throat. Excuse me, my dear king. Before Eggman could finish his sentence, Bowser interrupts. Rio! Bowser shoots a fireball from his mouth toward Eggman, only for Metal to block it. I assure you I am anything but that Mario fellow. I am Dr. Ivo Robotnik, but you may call me Eggman. Bowser raises an eyebrow before standing up from his throne. What are you here exactly? Eggman approaches Bowser as he continues to talk. I heard about your many conquests and how they were always stopped by one man. I have had some issue with my personal conquests thanks to one annoying pest, so I am offering my services. I scratch your back, you scratch mine if you catch my drift. Bowser chuckles slightly before crossing his arms. Ha! And what makes you think I need the help of some doctor? Eggman chuckles slightly before looking over at Sage. Sage, show our dear friend here some of my many accomplishments. Sage nods before hacking the few screens within the room to display the many creations of Eggman. Eggman Land powered by Wisps, the Time Eater, Metal Sonic, everything. As you can see, here I am more than capable of keeping up. Bowser smiles slightly. I like you, but I'm still not. Bowser is cut off as he hears his son, Bowser Jr., enter the room. The repairs for the armory are almost complete. Junior looks over at Sage, and he feels his cheeks burn. Oh, here we go.
Oh, no.
Junior, these are some guests offering their assistance. Don't pay them much mind. They'll be gone soon enough. Bowser reply leaves Junior in shock. Junior quickly rushes over to his father.
But we need these guys.
Bowser looks over to his son, confused. Why? You weren't even here for the demonstration. Junior leans forward and whispers into his father's ear.
Girl, I think she might be my princess.
Oh, no.
Bowser's eyes widen before giving Junior a nod. Well, after a lot of consideration, we will hear you out. Now tell me, what are you expecting? Eggman nods before gesturing toward the screen. Which screen? First of all, I request for us to divide the land equally between us. You can keep the princess, of course. Second, I am given equal control over the army. And third, you not stabbing me in the back. Bowser laughs slightly. Ew! The only time I betrayed someone was when someone me. So you should hopefully be fine. Eggman and Bowser shake hands as the troops within the room cheer. I can't.
Okay.
Actually, that whole paragraph was very hard.
I'll take over. Bowser and Eggman head off to discuss some more plans, leaving Junior alone with Sage and Metal to check over what's left of their current equipment.
This is the armory. We keep our power-ups here, like super mushrooms, fire flowers, ice flowers, you get the point.
Junior gestures around the marked chests. Sage floats over to the super mushrooms and pulls one out. What exactly do these power-ups do? Junior picks up a fire flower from one of the chests.
Well, it depends on the power-up. This flower allows me to throw fireballs. The super mushroom allows you to heal from any non-fatal damage. I've used it a lot to bring my dad back when he gets dipped in lava.
Sage returns the mushroom to the chest. Interesting. Please take us toward where you store your vehicles. Junior's eyes burn bright with excitement as he leads Sage and Metal into the vehicle storage. Junior enters the room and shows off the multiple flying ships within the storage.
These aren't even the best things here. The real star of the show is my clown car.
Sage raises an eyebrow. Clown car? Junior nods before he points towards his clown car.
This is my clown car.
Sage floats around it.
Questions? Have you ever seen a car before? Question, have you ever seen a car before?
Junior raises an eyebrow.
Don't they all look like this?
Sage shakes her head. Not even close. Junior smirks slightly.
Clearly mine is superior than here.
Here, let me show you Here, let me show you some more of the weapons. Junior hops into the clown car and starts to display the weapons.
I have a giant saw, a cannonball.
Did they spell cannon? Is that the right cannon, or is it should be C-A-N-N-O-N?
I wasn't even looking.
It's probably right.
Oh, it's not. That's totally not how you spell cannon.
It's like canonized, yeah, or this is cannon.
Yeah.
Got it. A cannon ball, a bowling ball, and a drill. Sage stares disinterested. First thing we do is give this car better weapons. Junior sighs disappointingly.
Can it at least look the same?
Sage reply. Of course. Bowser and Eggman entire the storage after a few hours to see Junior trying out the new machine gun on the clown car. I see Sage has already started upgrading new vehicles. I'll have her continue doing so once she gets the chance. Eggman says as Junior finishes up his test. Junior, Sage, and Metal meet back with Bowser and Eggman. Alright, Junior, you are going to do some recon with Sage. See if you can spot Mario, Luigi, or the Sonic guy, Bowser says while patting Junior on the head. Junior jumps slightly in excitement as he and Sage hop into the clown car and prepare to fly off. As for you, Metal, we have a plan for you too, Eggman says as Junior and Sage fly off into the sky, the storage being filled up with the combined laughter of Eggman and Bowser. Notes. Thank you so much for reading. I've been thinking about writing this for ages, since 2023 to be more precise. Anyways, chapter 2 will be out eventually. I'm going to rely on my best friend and co-writer, to work on chapter 2 while I personally work on the Forces rewrite. Hope to see you guys soon. Well, there you go.
Aww.
I know. Let me see what else they wrote.
Yeah.
This was just like a nice little whatever. and Mr. Redshaw. What did Mr. Redshaw write? Okay, graphic depictions of violence.
This got fewer kudos than the previous
that thing that
we read.
Yeah, that thing. Well, yeah, this is just like all right, yeah, this is just I don't know, but that was a lot easier to read.
God Palace.
That was nice. So
The first generation of gods find a child drifting. Oh, that's cute. Oh, wait, what? Now there's some Jehovah shit? What's going on? Oh, okay, now I'm confused.
God's Palace is that another thing?
Yeah, it's another thing this person, I don't know, this person's probably, I don't know, this person's probably is just a kid, so. we can move
Probably,
on
most
from that.
likely.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so I'm going to, let's see, we got all kinds of stuff here. I'm thinking, there's this one, it's about Shrek, and it's called Apocalypse. Like Apocalypse, but Apocalypse. It's on Wattpad. Here, I'll send you the link to it.
Fun.
I know.
Okay.
the real mark of quality. Here you go.
Ogres have layers.
Mm-hmm.
The apocalypse has begun. Fiona and the baby ogres have died. Okay. Shrek and Donkey have escaped for now. They scavenge the swamp for food, just trying to stay alive.
This is gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Oh, we have to. It's first person, so we have to do it in Scottish accent.
Oh man. All right. Yeah. All right. Here we go. All right. So I'm not really good at a Scottish accent, but I'll do my best. All right. So.
Do you want me to start?
I'm going to just. Whoops. Don't want my emails on there. Fucking.
Oh,
That's nice. Oh well. I guess everyone knows my emails. Whatever. There's 5 people watching. Who cares? All right. So. All right. I'm gonna get some water, and I'll be right back.
Yeah. Okay. You want me to start?
Yes.
Okay. After Fiona died, Donkey and I had been on our own. We left my house immediately and had been now I'm starting to sound like an Eastern European. Had been scavenging the city. Mostly I stay in the swamp because it's close to home. But it's I really do start running and going to Russian. Most infested. I'm gonna stop. I only am surviving on onions and Donkey on whatever he can find. We mostly raid houses and camp there until it gets taken over. I've killed more of my zombified friends than I can remember. Gingerbread Man, the piglets, Grandma Wolf, I can't even remember. But I do remember Pinocchio. He was the one who started this plague. When he was bit with the pine beetle and died, something mutated and spread like wildfire. Everyone was almost dead. It was like a ticking time bomb until Donkey or I died. I'm not even sure if there's anyone left but us. We wander through the swamp. Splish sploosh, I hear as we walk along. The mud has gotten thicker for some reason. We had tried to raid the castle, Farquaad's castle, no possessive, but it was too overrun. The houses in the marsh were starting to run low on supplies. I couldn't dare go back to my old house because I hadn't killed my wife or kids rotting zombie corpses. I couldn't bring myself to do it or even look at them. Hey, Shrek! Donkey calls. I try to ignore him, but he kept calling. It wasn't until I turned I noticed. What? I angrily call. Little help here? He asks, trying to fight off a zombie with his... He's incapable of fighting due to lack of hands. I rush over, following the usual attack plan. I get Donkey out of the way. I assess who the zombie is. If it's a friend, we simply kill it and bury the body. If it's an enemy or stranger, we kill it and burn the body. Wouldn't it come back if you don't burn it? This one is a stranger, so we kill it and throw the body into our pre-made fire pit.
I want to read this part.
Yeah.
All right, so are we reading this in the Shrek voice or no?
I tried, but then I kept turning into a Russian, so I just was like, okay.
I'll give it a shot. I'm not very good at Shrek voice, but I'll let... This one is a stranger, so we kill it and throw the body into our pre-made fire pit. Yeah, you're right. It does kind of become Russian pretty quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I light one of the matches and flick it in. The entire hole fills with flames and smoke. I'm very tired of having to burn the
Turning into a New Yorker.
I'm very tired of having
to burn the body.
Man, I guess I'm very tired of having to burn the bodies. I mean, all right, so sometimes if we're far away, we leave them. Another week or two passes since our last accident. I'm beginning to lose track of time and assume it's mid-April because of the frequent rain. I couldn't tell the day for the life of me. During the first few months, I kept track of how many days had gone by, hoping that the world would back to normal soon, but when out last base for... Oh my god, I guess this is so poorly written. Would back to normal soon, but when out last base for overrun, I lost the number. I assume it's around 210 days because it's been about 7 months. This whole mess started in the early autumn. My ogre hair is starting to grow. Usually it grows slowly on my head, and I shave, but with no time or tools to keep proper ogre hygiene, I just let it grow. Fiona never knew I even had hair. None of our kids did.
Fiona did because she was human before her curse. I assume it's been 240 days because it's starting to get warmer. Maybe it's June. Little Shrek Jr., my son, his birthday was in June. I remember the day he was born. Fiona was screaming in pain. They gave her onions to calm down. She loves onions. When he was born, it was one of the happiest days of my life. And now he's gone, just like everything I know and care about. Another zombie pops out of the trees. I scream in terror because one bite kills. Quickly, I whip out my gun and kill it. I've gotten pretty good with shooting, but out bullets run scarce. Donkey is learning to shoot and stab because one day I'll be gone, and he'll be left to defend himself.
How does Donkey shoot?
How does he shoot? With his mouth? Like, does he hold the gun in his mouth and use his tongue to pull the trigger?
I don't know.
I assume it's been a year. I've killed over 100 of my friends and 200 plus strangers. The castle is still overrun, and Donkey and I go there every day and kill 20 walkers in hopes that one day they'll all be out.
Shrek, I gotta talk to you.
Donkey stammers abruptly. Yes, I reply.
You've been out of it for a while. I think it's been a year or so, and I understand your family is dead, but you have to snap out of it. If we're gonna survive, you gotta have a little faith.
He lectures me. I can't believe it, but he's right. I just can't admit it for some reason.
No, Donkey, don't you get it? Everyone's dead. Everyone you love. Everyone I love. Your dragon lover's dead, probably along with all your kids.
I scream. I know that in a matter of time, more corpses will arrive due to my noise, but I don't care. Donkey has a hurt look in his eyes.
You don't know that.
He almost cries.
Yes, I did.
I yell. I know I've taken it too far, but I needed to get my anger out. A walker appears out of the bush, followed by 4 more. I can't fight off 5 by myself. Maybe I could, but I didn't want to risk it. I look to Donkey for help, but he just scowls and prances away. Okay, I think to myself. You gotta be smart and safe. I stab one in the head with my good blade. I didn't know that guy. Maybe I've seen him at the market, but not enough to acquaint us. The blade gets stuck, so I have to pull out my spear. I then penetrate 3 other skulls, killing them. There's one left. Oh no, it can't be. It's one of Donkey's kids. I quickly kill it and hide the body in a bush. I can't let Donkey know. I understand that I told him they were dead, but actually seeing them will abolish all hope, and he'll give up trying. I can't let him know. Alright, Fraggy.
Oh, there's a next part. Oh boy.
Yeah, it should be like 5 pages, I think.
Oh, great. Great. Now it's Donkey's.
Now you're
point of
Donkey.
view.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Donkey. I didn't have much of a family. My dragon wife was mad at me when the whole thing started, so I haven't really talked to her since. At first I wanted to find her, but now I know she's safe. I just need to work on protecting myself. I can't do that fast talking that Eddie Murphy does, because it's like I can't even fucking. All right. Not sure about my kids though. Although they can fly, they're very slow. Shrek is very caught up in surviving, and finding my wife is hour of the question.
Hour of the question.
We stumbled upon another living corpse. I've been trained to fight him off. I quickly kick it to the ground and stab in his head. I'm getting good at this. Donkey, where are you? I hear Shrek call. I don't respond. Need me some me time. Donkey, quick, I'm being attacked! He screams. No period. I decided to come because he really needed my help and could be the only other living thing besides myself alive. Surrounding him in 3 walkers. He could easily. I've lost all hope.
Surrounding him in 3 walkers.
Yeah.
So the
I've
zombies
lost all hope.
like I'm just imagining the zombies are like holding those old people walkers and they're like shambling like retired people up to him.
See, like, I'm still scarred by that first fanfic, so I'm just thinking, like, oh, he's in the walker, like Kamala Harris was in Donald Trump. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that first one was maybe we started off a little too too strong, maybe, with this one.
You were the one who chose that one.
I didn't know it would be that bad. I thought it was gonna be about golf. I didn't know it was gonna be like that.
Oh man, the golf club was okay.
I mean,
Anyway,
technically it was about golf a little bit, but yeah.
He could easily take them, but I think he just wanted an excuse to. Oh no! He's been bitten! His green ogre blood spills to the ground. I'm in shock. I didn't realize the zombie behind me. I buck it out of my area. It tumbles down a hill. Then I kick 3 others surrounding the wounded Shrek. Pull out my gun from my ass. They're all surrounding me. I shoot all 3 in the head using only 3 bullets. Shrek, are you okay? I asked, already knowing the answer is no. What does it look like, you filthy animal? He calls back. There's no jauntiness in his tone. It's okay, we can amputate it. I hopefully call back. It's no use. Yes, Shrek, it's use. It's only on your forearm. Okay, hold still. I reach for my bag. A bloody ogre hand stops me. No, donkey, he sternly says. I do it anyway. I grab my axe and my hooves and chop his arm off.
Chop
He
his arm off.
roars his arm off. Yeah. He roars his mighty ogre roar and falls unconscious due to shock and blood loss.
Alright, I'll take it from here.
The next part, yeah.
Fiona is here. So are my children. That is how I know I am dreaming. Fiona has her back to me, and so did my ogrelings.
Fiona, dear? I question. No reply. Are you okay? I ask wearily. She turns to me, and I see that it isn't Fiona, but her zombified body, staring at me through her dilated and white eyes. It isn't my wife. This is a monster. I try to run, but I can't. My feet are stuck in the swampy mud. Then I'm bitten. Donkey is here. He cuts off my arm. Then I wake up to find that part of this wasn't a dream.
Dun dun dun.
Oh, right. We have the soundboard here. Oh, wait.
Oh, yeah. Let's see.
There we go. So, it's been hard trying to... Thank you.
It's been hard trying to adapt without an arm. I sometimes reach for things and it's like I'm partially a ghost trying to grab. Then I remember that my left arm is no longer attached to me. Thankfully I lived, although I wish I would have died and went to see my family again. My ogre hair is getting very long. I haven't bathed in months, not that I ever bathed, but before. But for some reason it feels wrong. Donkey is growing tired and weaker. He learned to use a gun and we found the jackpot full of ammo. I usually just crush zombie skulls between my fists, but without an arm I just use a machete. We've only come across one human, but he was bitten and asked us to kill him. I'm not proud of what I did, but I knew it was for the best. Donkey has been very quiet lately. I wonder what he thinks about. Sometimes I can sleep. I lay awake at night dreaming of what might have been with me and Fiona. We just started on the road again. We scavenged some houses and found hardly anything useful. I haven't slept in days, and it's starting to affect me. Donkey, we need to slow down, I plead. No, Shrek.
He calmly answers.
Then I'll die,
I say. I've been wanting to die for weeks. I've only stayed strong to protect Donkey, but now that he can use a gun, nothing is stopping me from getting bitten. Alright, your turn.
Yeah, okay, I'll finish this off.
Okay.
I run. Donkey is too weak to follow. I search desperately for another walker to bite me. There is none in sight. I frantically look and I hear one in a bush. Shrek, stop! I know what you're trying to do, and just don't! He calls. It's too late. The thing is coming near me and it sinks its rotten teeth into my neck. I fall to the ground. I'm falling faint, and Donkey shoots it. He kneels by my side, almost in tears. Shrek, how could you? How could you leave me alone? He screams. I can't respond. I'm slowly drifting away. I muster up the energy to speak.
Donkey, when I'm gone, I want you to stay strong. You can beat this world. And Donkey,
Yes, Shrek, he says, crying.
make sure to use more than one bullet when I'm gone.
I smile. Ogres have layers. My vision goes faint and blurry. I see Donkey crying. but above me I see a red dragon, and then I'm gone.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
There's comments. This is so emotional and beautiful.
This is the most emotional I felt for a Wattpad story. It's Shrek. I love it.
This is terrible. What is wrong with you people?
That was great. That was great. So look at the cat. Let's see what else we got. So, The Amazing Adventures of Super Boogie and Kim Jong-un. What do you say?
What's Super Boogie? Is it just like Boogie 2988, but he's a superhero or something?
That's what I think it's about, yeah.
Oh, great. Oh, oh god, it is Boogie. Okay. Sure. Should we be doing, oh god. I don't really listen to or watch Boogie very much.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what he sounds like. I'm worried what kind of accent we might do for Kim Jong-un.
Well,
you want to do the punchy Sonichu accent?
Sure, no problem. Yeah, we'll go with that. That sounds good.
Yeah. All right.
Here, I'll start. I don't even know how long this is, but
Yeah.
hey, we'll see. It has 130 views, 6 likes, and 2 comments. It was an unusually warm night on Route 66, Alabama. The YouTuber...
Wait, hang on. I just want to... Maybe I can do maybe you can do both voices for the characters and I'll do the narrator.
Ah, I like that. Okay. Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I don't know both of them, so it works. Yeah.
Okay.
It was an unusually warm night on Route 66, Alabama. A YouTuber known as Boogie2988 sat at his desk breaking an Xbox as usual. He was about to start recording a video when he received a Skype call from Supreme Leader of North Korea, Kim Jong-un. Boogie opened the call and watched as Kim Jong-un's large head appeared on his screen.
Help me, Boogie.
He said,
Once again, my home is being invaded by American soldiers. Come and save me.
Sure thing, Kim.
Boogie replied.
I'll be right over.
And with that, he hopped into his granny mobile and soared out of the roof and into the stratosphere, leaving a trail of rainbows behind him. Okay, next part. The granny mobile ground to a halt on the land of North Korea. Boogie flopped of and slowly waddled to Kim Jong-un's burning palace. Years of playing Metal Gear had trained Boogie to be stealthy, but this was unhelpful IRL, and he was spotted instantly by an American soldier. Boogie grabbed an Xbox which he had found on the floor and threw it at the guard's face. The impact was not too bad, but the shock of having an Xbox lunged at his head by such a man was too much, and this caused his skull to explode. He then spotted Kim Jong-un being taken on board a helicopter bound for America. Boogie knew he must protect his master, and using all his power, he threw an Xbox. I soared towards the vehicle and caused the heli to explode on impact with it. Boogie was extremely chuffed with himself until he realized that Kim Jong-un had already boarded the helicopter when he threw the Xbox. North Korea's leader was dead!
And that's the end of the story.
Please continue this, I must know what happens to Boogie, says Masks of Shadow Rider.
And that was the Adventures of Boogie.
So Boogie's superpower is throwing Xboxes at people. Love it.
I love
Beautiful.
it. Good old Boogie, the Boogster.
Yeah, the
So-
Boogster.
So this was
Does he shoot lasers out of his tipples?
yeah, that's him. He's the one that
Yeah.
did Tipples. So let's see here. We have a request actually from Alan Sampson. I don't know if he's in the chat or what,
Boy.
but he wanted us to read the Chronicles of Jesus and Shrek.
I'm so down.
I get the feeling this is going to be something that's it's going to be a little intense, I'll just say.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's one of those. So here, let me just
Intense like the first fanfic or intense like the Shrek fighting zombies?
a little closer to the first one.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I like the guy's profile picture too. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, let put it in the chat so I can actually.
Oh yeah,
read it.
that'd be a good idea. All right, so let me do that real quick for you. So this is. Yeah, I have a bad feeling about this.
It's verifying I'm human. Great. Oh God. Oh God. Oh.
Yeah.
Jeez. Click on the profile picture.
Yep. He's holding the gun and he's wearing a Speedo with a bunch of
Yep.
ammo and it looks like a Guitar Hero 3 controller next to his shoulder over there.
Oh, there's an MPreg edition. Never.
Oh, well, I guess we could read
Yeah,
that one next.
This is a prolific author. Okay.
Books Bible. I like that.
Yeah.
So, who wants to go first? All right, I'll go first.
Fine.
I'll-
Fine. Okay.
Well, you go. I don't want
Fucking.
to.
Okay. Fine. Fine.
I don't want to steal your thunder, Freggy.
You jerk. Everyone has kinks, and for Jesus, it was shower sex.
Bruh.
You need. You need to shower. Jesus received a baffled look as Shrek mumbled the word shower. Sorry. So Jesus said that you need to shower.
You need to shower.
You need to shower. Jesus received a baffled look as Shrek mumbled the word shower to himself. What's a shower? Humans use it to clean themselves instead of going into a swamp like you ogres usually do, Jesus said, unbuckling the belt around Shrek's large waist. Sounds dirty, he stated, beginning to unbutton the top of his old-timey dress thing. His hand went down to stop Shrek, making him let out a small whimper. Humans possessive shower alone.
Humans
Jesus
shower?
said. Humans
A human's shower.
alone.
Alone.
Humans shower, okay, yeah. Jesus said, helping to slip the waistcoat off Shrek's fucking massive back. He blew a raspberry in disapproval. That's boring. I don't even know what a human shower looks like. You need to teach me how to use it. After a few more minutes of convincing, aka Jesus was playing hard to get, they were both stood naked in the bathroom. When Jesus switched on the shower and the water came gushing out, Shrek scampered over to the other side of the bathroom. It's not going to hurt you, Jesus stated, stepping into the bathtub and under the shower. Timidly, Shrek entered as well and stood under the head, hissing at how hot the water was. Jesus picked up a bottle shampoo. Jesus pushed Shrek by the shoulders to step out from under the water. What the bloody heck is that? He said in his sexy Scottish accent. It's shampoo, Jesus said, squeezing some into his hands. Close your eyes. Shrek did as he was commanded. Then Jesus began to massage it over Shrek's embarrassingly bald head until it was lathered to his satisfaction. Then when he stopped, Shrek's eyes peeped open as Jesus put some shampoo through his own lush brunette locks. Curiously, Shrek reached up to the lather, swiped a finger through it, and then tasted it. The face almost made Jesus double over. He was laughing. It doesn't taste good, Jesus giggled. It smells good, though.
I want to read now.
Yeah, okay.
All right, this is so far not too bad. It's just kind of
yeah.
innocent. It's like, you know, Shrek
Yeah,
is learning what a
just-
shower is. Good.
They're a nice, wholesome couple doing couple things. It's
Yeah,
fine.
it's clean so far.
Yeah.
Shrek nodded in agreement before being pushed back under the shower head. He yelped in pain as the soapy water ran into his mesmerizing brown eyes. I told you to close your eyes, Jesus gasped, running his fingers over Shrek's prematurely bald head to make sure all the soap bubbles were off it, although it wasn't exactly hard. He swiped his finger over Shrek's eyelid and told him to open his eyes again. I'm going to put conditioner in your hair because it's... Wait, I can't tell who's saying this. I'm going to put
I'm going to put conditioner in your hair because it's fucking pointless as hell. We'll just move on to soap. Okay. Jesus turned Shrek around and squeezed shower gel over his back. Slowly, he began to rub the gel over his back and down his body, tracing his fingers slower over Shrek's bum and the back of his thighs.
Hey, Frank, how are you enjoying this?
How often do we shower? He asked, eagerly feeling Jesus' hands against his body. Jesus turned him around and placed a quick peck on his lips before squirting some shower gel on his man boobs and rubbing it to a lather and working down his body. Can I do this to you next? Shrek asked hopefully. Just so everyone knows, this was a request by Alan Sampson. That is, who, I don't think he's even, the unfortunate thing is Alan Sampson isn't even here to witness this now, and this is a request that he asked for. So, Alan Sampson, if you're out there, wherever you are in the world, this is for you. I did not request this, though. If you want, he shrugged, making circular motions on his inner thighs. Can I do it now? Jesus smiled down to his feet. You also, be patient. Establish your hearts, for the coming of the Lord is at hand. What the fuck did you just say? Shrek asked him. I was quoting my book, man. He snapped. You know, the fucking Bible. I thought you read it. I don't fucking memorize quotes from it, you lout. Jesus placed another kiss on his lips, pushing him back slightly so the hot water washed over both their bodies. Shrek's tongue dragged across his bottom lip, asking for entrance, which Jesus gladly allowed him. They face-mashed for a few mins before he pulled away and grabbed the shower gel. A smile of delight spread across his face as the shower gel came out of the bottle. He did the same as Jesus did on his chest and massaged it in, slowly letting his hands run over every part of his body. Jesus shivered under his touch. You're fucking hard, Shrek laughed, squirting some more shower gel out of the bottle into his hands and rubbing it over Shrek's hips, teasing finger occasionally brushing against his center. Fuck off, you look like a fucking bogey, Jesus mumbled. It's only natural when you're... Shrek traced his finger down his staff and Jesus held his breath to back a moan. Once Shrek's hand began to make their way down to his thighs, Jesus sighed out, doing this. Shrek's hand went up against and ghosted over his sensor before going back to his thighs. To me. It continued like this for what felt like minutes. Shrek rubbing in shower gel to his thighs, going close to his D, then away again. After his sixth time, Jesus grabbed the ogre by his ears that looked like fucking dildos and stared him right in the eye. What the fuck are you waiting for? He growled, pushing him back again under the hot water and planting a furious kiss on his lips that in reality was a mess of tongues and teeth clashing as they felt each other up. Ayy. When Shrek put his onion-flavored meatloaf into Jesus' oven, good lord, Jesus shed a tear because it stung his bumhole. Come on, Alan Sampson. He thrust along to the beat of Ave Maria, and Jesus let out a loud hallelujah as he found his release. Of course, Shrek is love, Shrek is life. Just wanted to add a special poem for all my fans since it's been a while. I'm going to hell for writing this. So are you for reading this. See y'all there. We can form a band down there. I got a little bit lazy toward the end, saws.
I don't think Ave Maria has a beat.
No, I don't think so. Just look at the cat, everyone. Hope you like the cat.
Please, for the love of God, let me see this cat.
Yeah, just look at the cat. Just look at the cat. And we are going to find another one. I got so many here. So we got two things about Thomas the Tank Engine. We got Thomas the Ladies Engine. We got Thomas's Lucky Days. But there's one that I did a little skimming of. It's called My Sweet Omega, Donald Trump x Elon Musk. And
oh yeah,
I like that one. It's a work in progress, but I read a little tiny bit of it, and Freggy, I just have to show it to you.
We have to do this one next.
Okay.
And then we can move on to Thomas.
Omega verse
Yes.
Elon and Donald. Okay.
Yes.
Elonald.
Yes.
Elonald, yeah.
We're doing Omega verse Elon Musk, Donald Trump. So let's go. Summary.
Alright.
I don't plan on choosing an alpha for power, he said firmly. I plan on choosing the one that's right for me. Trump smirked at that. As if entertained, he simply replied, "We'll see about that." Uploaded as Lipskus on Wattpad. Chapter 1, Elon. Elon was admitted into the most prestigious school in America. This was a big step for our little Omega. He was born in South Africa. His only goal was to meet his fated pair. As the days went on, Elon acted like the most perfect exchange student. In South Africa, things were different for the whole Omega, Alpha, and Beta situationship. If he was not marked by the end of the program, his father, the co-owner of Zambian Emerald Mine, would send him off to an Alpha. I'm not familiar with what the Omega verse is, but it sounds weird.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like Alpha. I think it's like Dom sub shit, but with like Alpha, Beta, and then there's like Omega, which is I think Omegas are like super subs or something. I don't know.
All right. And I think it has something to do with smells too, but I really don't know.
Yeah,
This whole thing is a bit esoteric to me.
It's really dumb.
Elon hated the idea of this. He was never well liked in his hometown, so his pair wouldn't be 1, someone who liked him, 2, someone who he even knew very well. As an Omega, Elon wasn't treated the best. Omegas are seen as disgusting, horny creatures, only meant to get knocked up by an Alpha and thrown away from any powerful physician in the world.
End of chapter. I guess that. Thanks. What a great end to your chapter.
Chapter 2, Part 1. Go ahead, Frankie.
Summary. Then make time. Elon adjusted the sleeves of his blazer, his sharp blue eyes scanning the courtyard of the academy. The academy had blown out every single one of the expectations he had. His whole life revolved around South Africa. America is surely different, Elon muttered. Omegas weren't openly revolved, but they still had boundaries. They weren't allowed to be vocal, independent, nor overly sexual. During the last few weeks, he perfected his role as the ideal exchange student. Polite, reserved, and excelling in his academics. He worked his way up the ladder by charming his teachers and avoiding unnecessary attention from alphas. Most of all, he made sure his scent was under control by taking scent blockers. The last thing Elon wanted was attention just because of his secondary gender.
Secondary gender. I don't know what that means.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I'm probably better off.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
But he couldn't rest. If he didn't find his fated pair before the program ended, he knew his father would fulfill his promise. He would be sent away, like a slave to some power-hungry alpha who only saw him as a breeding tool. Just the thought of it made his stomach twist. Hey, African boy! Elon flinched at the nickname and turned around. There he saw Nathaniel Carter, an alpha with a sick reputation. He wasn't bad for an alpha looks-wise. Pardon me. Slowly dying.
Okay.
Broad shoulders, light-colored hair, and pretty green eyes. The only problem was these eyes gleamed with mischief. Elon shuddered. How could this be the son of a U.S. senator, he thought. Elon straightened his posture, narrowing his eyes. He said, Nathaniel. Nathaniel leaned against the marble railing beside him. Just without trying, he was annoying. You always look so serious, Muskie. You know, nobody really cares about grades here. Maybe you should loosen up. Elon frowned. You mean I should act like an Omega and let an Alpha dictate my life? Nathaniel smirked, remaining unfazed. I mean, maybe you should admit you don't hate all Alphas. I'm so lost. Elon's face flushed, trying not to show his face. He thinks about his mission, the one he will accomplish by the end of the school year. I don't really know what you mean. I never said I hated anyone. I don't want unnecessary attention. Elon thought he wasn't ready for this. He didn't understand why he was under Nathaniel's watch.
Nathaniel, yeah.
Nathaniel, yeah, okay. Before the other could answer, Elon continued, I don't have time for your games, he said while turning to leave. Before he could walk away, Nathaniel firmly caught his wrist. A tingle of something unfamiliar traveled up Elon's arm. Pulling Elon closer, Nathaniel softly murmured, then make time. For an alpha, his voice was soft. This alone made Elon a blushing mess. Elon pulled his arm back, lightly rubbing his wrist. He acted like he just touched the Antichrist. He didn't wait for the other to say anything else before walking away. He could hear his heart beating through his ears. That was a close call. This is seriously dangerous. He couldn't afford to feel anything, not at this moment. He believed this alpha wasn't for him. He did not feel that spark others say the feel. This alpha was wrong for him. With his future already decided, he knew he shouldn't.
Yeah, alright, so just want you to know that this was published on January 31st, updated on February 1st, and it's still a work in progress. So, summary.
How long is this, by the way?
1,868 words, 4 chapters, and they haven't worked on it in almost 2 months.
Okay. Yeah, we can do 4 chapters. These are short.
I'm thinking that they lost interest in writing it.
Yeah.
Summary. We'll see about that. Elon felt something shift in the academy over the past few days. The way people whispered in hushed voices, guards in the hallways watching his every move. In the past, he couldn't played it off as paranoia, but now, now something is definitely happening. Still, he didn't think he was personally the problem. Well, that was until the headmaster personally sought him out during lunch. That's when Elon knew there was something involving him. Musk! Headmaster Inuye's voice was calm yet firm. Looking at Inuye, for his age, he seriously had authority. Being known as a war hero and an outstanding former senator put him in a position of power most people will never dream of having. This was dominance. Elon stood up quickly, pushing his chair back. Headmaster Inuye, there's someone who wants to meet you. His expression was unreadable. Follow me. Elon followed willingly. Overthinking now will just make things harder later, he thought to himself. He learned long ago, powerful men will not wait for you. It's better to listen than to ask. As they walk through the long, well-kept corridors of the academy, Elon suddenly felt anxious. The pressure of something bigger, darker, was weighing down on him. The headmaster barely intervened in student affairs. As they walked, they began going deeper in the building. Looking around, you could tell people don't use these areas often. The rooms that they passed felt more secluded. 2 men in black suits stood near a doorway. As they walked up, they slowly opened the door they were guarding. Inuye gave Elon a slight nod before gesturing him inside. Elon stepped forward. The room was nothing he's ever seen before. It was huge, like really huge, FR. The lights were dim lit, and there sat a mysterious man. At the head of the table sat Donald Trump.
Whoa.
I love that.
Undone.
Elon saw him online before, on the internet, in the news, but standing in his view was something else entirely. Trump's honey blonde hair was perfectly combed back. His suit was superb, and his skin is as orange as ever. I don't know if it's going like present tense, past tense, or present or like future.
Yeah,
it's like
I don't know what's going on.
something was something else entirely. Is yeah, like it goes from past to present, like just in the same sentence almost. Yeah, his blonde hair was perfectly combed back, and his skin is orange. Yeah, okay. One thing that concerned Elon was Trump's expression. It seemed like he was waiting for this moment. Elon Musk,
Trump said, leaning back in his chair. His voice rang with authority, the kind that commanded attention, whether you wanted to give it or not. I've heard a lot about you. Elon couldn't let his expression show. One wrong move could cost him everything, straightening his shoulders whilst meeting Trump's gaze. Mr. Trump? Trump smirked, as if pleased by the man in front of him. He gestured towards the chair across from him. Sit. Elon obeyed, though he remained tense. He could feel the weight of Trump's gaze. It felt like he was calculating his value. You're an interesting one, Trump said, amused, tapping his fingers against the table. Smart, calculative, and disciplined. He tilted his head to the side. And an omega. Elon's whole body jolted at the remark. The only thing he could do was stay silent. Well, I imagine it hasn't been easy, Trump said in a sly manner before continuing. An omega like you, trying to make it in a world built by alphas. Working on my Trump impression. Carefully thinking.
It's all right, yeah. It sounds like Trump is like. It sounds like a mix of Trump and Biden. It's like Trump is slowly dying.
Yeah, a little bit. Like, yeah, kind of do like the gently, kind of, sort of like a kind of like a voice.
Everything I'm saying like I'm making fun of you.
Yeah, you gotta have like a little bit of a whisper in the way you sound it too. Yeah. Carefully thinking about his reply.
Carefully
thinking about his reply. Elon kept his voice steady. I don't need the world to make space for me. What do you mean? I'll carve my own path. That sounds like Shadow the Hedgehog. I'll carve my own path. Trump bursted out into laughter. Good answer. Leaning forward while composing himself. But then tell me, what's even the point? What's your goal? What do you really want? Controlling his breathing, Elon continued. Control over my future. Wasting no time, Trump nodded, smiling like an idiot. Control isn't real. It's just an illusion we humans created. What truly is real is power. That's what really matters. Alone, you'll never get power in this world. You'll just keep going down the same path every time. Failure. Elon couldn't stomach these words. He knew the other wasn't lying. He knew this was also an offer. You ever think about what kind of alpha you truly want? Trump asked. Elon exhaled slowly. This question had been the very question he's avoided for as long as he could remember. I don't plan on choosing an alpha for power, he said firmly. I plan on choosing the one that's right for me. Trump smirked at that, as if entertained. He simply replied, We'll see about that. All right, Fraggy.
All right, part 3. All right. Elon sat stiffly in his chair, his mind running a mile the mask he wore. He was careful not to let it crack. The air in the dimly lit room felt thick, and Trump's words felt challenging. Elon felt a chill run down his spine.
His spin.
We'll see about that. The former president's smirk remained, sharp and calculating, as if he had already planned out every step of Elon's journey before ever meeting him. Elon knew all about Alpha '*S. Still, with mastering the art of control, it's hard to control his emotions around them. Every move carefully watched, calculated, and judged. Yet now, under Trump's gaze, he felt like an insect. Every single move Elon calculated. Still, he couldn't win against Donald Trump.
You think power is an illusion?
Elon sighed, straightening his back.
But if that were the truth, comma, you wouldn't be sitting here in front of me. Smart, new, and different,
Trump chuckled. He leaned toward, pressing all 4 fingers together. He continued,
Power. Yeah, it's a real thing. But it's a bit different than what you see in society. Well, more like the movies.
Elon titled his head. Curiously, he took in every word the man in front of him was saying. It's not about strength or money or in power, influence. It's not about strength, money, intelligence. Trump paused to gauge Elon's reaction before he began speaking again. Power is influence. Elon narrowed his eyes slightly, choosing his words carefully. And what do you want from me? And what do you want from me? Elon had to choose his words carefully, trying not to make the other upset. He said it twice, tilting his head. It's not about what I want, it all comes down to you. What you want. Elon's stomach turned. No matter the amount of threats, offers, and tests he's gotten, nothing could have compared to what Trump's offered. What's the price? The man leaning back in his chair as if he already won but couldn't help but grin. Loyalty. Elon's breathing became rugged, trying to gather his composure.
His composer.
It was his composer. Yeah, Beethoven's in the back, all in pieces. Yeah, he thought it was never about the offer, it was about who he belonged to. The air suddenly becoming thick, Elon couldn't gather a reply. Instead, the door opened, the sight of two men in black suits before stepping aside. Elon's breath caught in his throat. The figure that stood before him exuded max aura. The effortless dominance he could have only wished of having. Sharp eyes, just the way they walked. This was someone who knew exactly what they wanted and where they'd get it from. When they spoke, their voice was deep. It sent shivers down his spine. Elon Musk, the newcomer said, their lips curling into a smile. I've been looking for you, my love.
And that's it. That's the whole thing. That's all they wrote.
Who's the new person? Oh my god!
I don't know. They ended on a cliffhanger. They stopped.
Oh my god, they got, yeah.
Let's see. All right, so who wrote this?
I'm seeing additional tags. Kanye West is a god. Kanye West is my lord and savior. That's cool. Thanks.
How about we check out Kanye West as a god? Oh,
there's only one.
It's just
it's
all
only this one. I think
well.
I think they just sort of put it in too.
All right. Well, do you want to look up? Do you want to read a Thomas the Tank Engine one, or want me to get? Sorry. Okay.
We can do Thomas.
Let's just do some Thomas. Make it nice and.
We can do Thomas. Poor Thomas.
I'm pretty sure that's probably not too far off from what it's going to be. Are we going to see Thomas the Ladies Engine or Thomas's Lucky Days?
That's on you, man.
Well, I'm looking at the URL for Thomas's Lucky Days, and it actually has the word smut in it. So let's just look at Thomas the Ladies Engine.
Yeah.
I'm not ready for smut right now.
Yeah, me neither.
Let's see. This is 1,008 words, so it's rather short.
Yeah, drop it in the chat.
Right. I need to remember to do that from now on. So, there you go. Right in the chat. You're welcome. So,
okay.
Oh man, this is like it's so poorly structured too.
And they're saying all the naughty words.
I know. Red. I want to look up this person's account and like see how old they are. They're probably like, oh, they're of course 19. Makes sense. All right, so here we go. I say you two. Thomas should not be having this much luck with the female engines, groaned a very pissed off Gordon to Henry and James. You know what I say it is. It's disgraceful, despicable, put in Henry, joining in on the long-standing tradition. Finally, James ended off with, disgusting, as he obviously would. To think that Thomas, little fucking Thomas, would have such luck makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Gordon was now fuming, and was by this point wanting to shove a full line of trucks into the ditch he had fallen into all those years ago. Actually, I think
Henry nervously put in. You think what? Gordon replied angrily. I think he sort of, well, deserves the attention, Henry finally stated after building up the courage to do so. Wait a minute, Henry. Did I hear that right? James asked, now very confused. Fucking Thomas deserves attention? Henry, you son of a bitch! James, along with Gordon, was now fuming, his face now as red as his shiny paint mark. Can I make my point, you two blubbering idiots? Henry finally snapped. Thomas, unlike you two, and to a lesser extent me, is actually a nice engine. But he's cheeky and rude. How is that supposed to be nice in any sense of the word? Gordon, now confused, asked, well, since you asked. Thomas knows when and where cheekiness can be either gotten away with or actually be beneficial. Unlike us, because I'm a bit of a worrywart. Gordon, you're too big for your wills and your buffers, and James, you're narcissistic. There, I said it. Now would you two kindly shut up so I can fucking sleep? Henry finally answered. Okay, go ahead, Friggy.
Yeah. The next morning, apparently we're supposed to go out today because the fat man heard us bickering and decided we needed to be shut up again. I wonder whose fault that is, Henry asked the other two, albeit very sardonically. Alright, fine, Gordon finally spoke, admitting defeat. Well then, let's talk about Percy, shall we? Yes, great idea, Gordon, James put in before going on. Percy also has a knack with women. How, I'm not sure, but I think it's because everyone thinks he's cute. Well, what can we say? Henry finally asked. Well, do either of you remember Mrs. Kinley's daughter's wedding? No, I can't say I have, Gordon said. Me neither, James added. God, I need to give voices to these characters.
I don't know what they sound like.
I don't either.
Because I don't watch Thomas the Tank Engine. Because
I'm not 6.
Because I'm not 6 years old, yeah, so.
Yeah, okay. Can't say they have. Also, what was her name again? Henry asked. June, wasn't it? Gordon answered. Oh, sorry. June, wasn't it? Gordon answered. I don't even know who's happening. Well, anyway, according to Thomas, after the wedding reception, you know what happened? Well, since we don't remember wedding, why don't you tell us? Gordon put in snarkily. Apparently, Percy got a fucking peck on the cheek. A peck? Oh, sorry. No, this is a different person. Let's do, a peck? What's that supposed to mean? James asked before it clicked. Oh, wait! Oh, no fucking way! Needless to say, James was fuming. The peck wouldn't have been from June Kinley, would it? Gordon asked. Oh, you can bet your tender it was. Percy blushed too, which makes it even worse because June the Beep probably thought he was mildly infatuated, Henry back. Well, at least Thomas being a ladies' engine means Rosie is completely obsessed with him, the yandere. Come on, we all know Rosie's a yandere, James said, trying to brighten up the mood. You've got a point there, James, old boy. One shudders to imagine what obsessive, cruel thoughts run amok within Rosie's smoke box. Gordon had to agree.
Man, you are good at, being able to tell who's talking because, holy crap, I cannot follow that. It's just, so poorly structured. It's just a big blob of words. The fact that you can even tell who's talking is really impressive to me.
I had to sort of skim.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll take it over from here.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome. Yeah, thanks. Suddenly. Hey, you three stuck-ups, I'm back! Wait, no, alright, let me think of a voice for Thomas. Hey, you three stuck-ups, I'm back! Thomas shouted to the three in the shed. Oh, no. The three great tender engines muttered to each other. Still pissed that I have a love life? Thomas probed in his cheeky way. Well, guess what? I've discovered a neat trick. What is it, little Thomas? Having had their attention piqued, Gordon asked Thomas about his so-called neat trick. If you concentrate a little bit, your buffers will turn into hands, which you can extend to grab stuff with, or tickle. Speaking of tickling,
Thomas trailed off. Hey lady, you mind coming over? And oh, okay, it's the same. I've never seen this happen before where like it changes a person speaking in the same like sentence. All right. Hey lady, you mind coming over? Anything for you, Thomas. Anything, lady replied rather creepily. So Thomas, what are you going to do? James asked sarcastically. Oh, Thomas, stop, not in public, lady cried out in alarm.
Oh, come on, it's not that bad, is it?
Thomas replied rather cheekily. Wait, Thomas, are you doing what I think you're doing? Because that's messed up, Henry said as he tried to intervene, but to no avail. Eventually... Thank you. Oh, that felt amazing, Thomas. Lady managed to eke out before slipping into unconsciousness. Well, now, Thomas, that was interesting to say the least. Henry finally spoke up.
Glad you liked it. Now look at what was underneath, lady.
Oh, now look at what was underneath, lady, Thomas replied. The three engines complied before realizing what it was they were looking at.
Oh, I can do this.
Go
Is
for it.
that lubrication oil? What the actual fuck, Thomas? Gordon finally snapped.
That's just a byproduct. Happens naturally when you do that. Don't ask why. I don't know.
Thomas replied before gently pulling Lady back into the sheds. Specifically the sheds Thomas had first used when he was building the NWR, which were underneath the current branch line sheds. Thank you so much for that clarification. To have more fun, if you catch my drift. Meanwhile, inside the mainline shed... Well, that was something, James said matter-of-factly. Let us never speak of occurrence again, stated. Capiche? Capiche? The other two engines replied. At that moment, Pip and Emma glided in.
What have you three been up to? Nothing strange, we hoped.
Oh, nothing, you two. You really should rest. We've got just the trick for that.
Really? What is it?
Emma asked innocently. We'll show you! The three now very horny replied. Wait, what are you doing with those? Stop it, help! Aye!
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Pinky! Unfortunately, there was nothing either Class 43 could do to stop the onslaughts of pokes and prods at their undercarriage, while the three tender engines laughed hysterically as it went on. Anyway, that was an experience, don't you think? I'll be off now. I think I'm scarred for life. Bye!
Did we just see, like, train non-consent?
The trains the trains just raped this girl.
We just
What
saw
the fuck?
we just read about train rape. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, let's go click on
So
the...
you thought that one was gonna be the nicer one? Is that what I'm...
Oh, no, I didn't think it was going to be well, I thought it was going to be better than the one that said smut in the URL, but it had, it had train non-con, which is, yeah, so...
Yeah.
Here, let's, this one is called Blue Monday. I would like you to...
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Blue Tuesday or Blue... Is it Blue Tuesday or Blue Monday? Because I see Blue Tuesday.
Oh, Blue Tuesday, sorry. First, let's look at the cat. I'm going to get some more water. Cat,
Okay.
Hey, chat, enjoy the cat for a second. I'm gonna get some water. I'll be back in a jiffy.
I'm gonna let the cat, I'm gonna let the cat play.
Just
It'll
hang
be
out,
nice.
hang out with the cat for a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, chat, this one has some interesting tags. Really interesting tags. I will tell you one thing, the fandoms involved are, The Doors, the band, and Neopets. I'm a little trepidatious. Oh, there's 15 chapters of this. We are not reading all 15.
We're not reading all 15?
No, we are not reading all fucking 15 of something that involves anal fingering and fisting and empreg and bukakis. No, we're not reading all 15 of that.
What if it's a really compelling story? We'll see.
I don't know.
Okay. Alright, so, here we go. So, summary. Please, for the love of God, Jim Morrison, don't take this seriously. Well, I don't think we need to worry about what Jim Morrison's gonna think. So, Chapter 1. Ray rhymes with gay. I opened my eyes and rose from my bed. It was another beautiful day in sunny California, and like most days, I had band practice. I got dressed and headed towards Jim's house because he was probably still asleep and would be late again if someone didn't go wake his ass up. I arrived at his place and the door was wide open, so I walked inside and yelled,
Jim, wake the fuck up. We gotta get to the studio.
I heard silence before, like a semi-naked woman walked out. But I heard silence before a semi-naked woman walked out of his bedroom. She waved at me and smiled and went into the kitchen. Typical. Jim is a slut, of course. He had a hoe at his house. Anyways, I went into his bedroom and I find Jim with his face buried in a pillow, butt-ass naked. I immediately blushed. He had the greatest ass I had ever seen. I yelled at him once again.
Jim, get up. Get dressed, man. What the fuck are you still doing home in bed?
Still blushy from having Jim's beautiful booty cheeks right in front of me, I heard a grunt and a muffled voice coming from the pillow.
Ray, shut up. I'm tired. Can't you see I've been fucking all night? Get the fuck out.
Holy shit, Jim is so annoying. I hate him so bad, even though he's the hottest man I've ever seen. I decided to drag his ass from the bed. Jim springs up the moment I touch him and screams,
What the fuck are you doing?
I look him directly in the hot, sexy eyes and say,
Getting your lazy ass out of bed. We gotta go to the studio, yo.
Jim groans before fully getting up and getting dressed. We go to the studio together. John and Robbie are already there, and they mention that we're late. Upon our entry, John says, What part of being punctual do you guys not understand? We've been here for 30 minutes. God damn, you're slow. Fuck you, John. My cock is bigger than yours, Jim screams. My mind begins to wonder. Oh, Mama, I bet you have a great cock, I think to myself. Jim walks off to the bathroom. I quickly realize I too need to use the bathroom. I follow behind Jim. He makes his way to the urinals and pulls. You know what? Maybe we shouldn't read this one. What do you think, Frigga?
Yeah, I don't. Well, the thing is, I'm not very familiar with these figures. I know vaguely of them. I've heard a little of their music, but
yeah, like you know the Doors, of course, but like
yeah, like vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, what got me wanted to read this one is because it's supposed to have Nick Fuentes in it somewhere, and I'm like, well, I mean, that sounds fun.
That doesn't sound like the. That's
Right.
weird though. Like that's weird though because I remember the Nick Fuentes one, but this isn't the Nick Fuentes one.
This isn't the Nick Fuentes one. You know what? I think
What
this.
happened to the Nick Fuentes one?
What's weird is that it has the Doors and Neopets in it.
Hang on, I'm gonna click on the one.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's this one. This is the Nick Fuentes one.
It's weird he's not in the tags at all.
Yeah, no, this is in the chat. I've put the Nick Fuentes one.
Oh, okay. All right. Amphibious circumstances. That's what it is. Well, let's read that one then.
Sure, why not? Yeah, we were looking for Nick Fuentes. I don't know where the Doors came in.
I don't know where the Doors came from. Alrighty. Go ahead. Take it away, Froggy.
Oh, chapter 1, Swamp Thing. Oh, I see. This is a slur against my people. All right. Nick wasn't accustomed to this sort of environment. After his underwhelming speech in Staten Island and Simon Jaden failed to keep his spirits up, Nick had spontaneously texted his token New Yorker, Lucian Wintrich, it had been a while since he had seen Lucian, but goodness knows that his other friend was keeping his spirits up, so he had to reach out beyond them. Lucien was so unlike most of the company he kept around, him being based out of New York being the least of it. He was a cultured, artistic sort from a well-off family and had attended private schools from kindergarten through college. He had actually completed his undergraduate studies rather than dropping out like Nick, getting expelled like Jaden, or just not attending like so many others associated with America First.
Of course.
Okay. At 33, he was a full decade older than Nick, and most of the rest of the Groypers as well. He was a relatively reputable figure who had worked as the White House correspondent for far-right publication The Gateway Pundit, even after his arrest following his altercation with a protester against his "It's okay to be white" speech at the University of Connecticut, or after losing his job with the Gateway Pundit for appearing on Nick's show. He remained unwavering in his ideology, political connections. Such was the benefit of generational wealth, Nick supposed. All of these morally upright figures even looked beyond Lucien's open homosexuality and not hidden behind a veneer of respectability like so many of these log cabin Republican types. His sexuality was loud and unapologetic, as well as inextricably linked with his ideologies. Like when he released his Twinks for Trump photo shoot at his Daddy Will Save Us art exhibition while Trump was still campaigning. Sorry, I had to reboot my brain.
Oh yeah. That's expected. Yeah.
Not since Elisarion's Cyclorama had an artist so effectively celebrated the triumph of the West and presented the image of a better world illustrated by male beauty. That was another thing. Lucien was so cultured. With his money connections, social prowess, and general sophistication, Lucien was exactly the type of person that Nick had hoped as fuck would have attracted more of.
I think they mean America First, AF.
Oh, America had hoped that America First would have attracted more of, but Lucien truly was an exception. Technically, he was not even a member. He had simply appeared on Nick's show some years back and socialized with him a few times in Chicago while remaining cordial with him on social media. As his own movement and image grew, Nick was aware that publicly associating with someone openly degenerate, openly being the operative word, would be bad optics, wealth, and connections be damned. Right now, however, he needed a distraction, and provided by someone in the area at that. Lucien qualified, so Nick had texted him. Lucien told him that he was having a party, something Nick did not prefer, but he wanted to get away and agreed to come.
All right, I'll read this next part. Now, as he
get more water.
Okay, yeah. These things make you kind of thirsty.
Yep.
Now, as he overlooked the bacchanalian display that surrounded him on the outer patio and stairs outside of Lucien's studio apartment, Nick wondered if it was worth it. He toyed with his face mask as it failed to keep out the smell of smoke from the cigarettes and joints that burned around him. Nick still always wore a mask in public, no matter what he said in his anti-shutdown speeches, in part to avoid being recognized in public and in part because of the comfort of having something wrapped around his face. He didn't expect these posh New Yorkers to recognize him, certainly not in the intoxicated stupors as they downed alcoholic beverages and nasally inhaled the fumes from small red and yellow bottles they all seemed to have. They danced about, some surprisingly scantily clad for the November chill. Perhaps the chemicals they ingested made them feel warmer, or the spirit of exhibitionism made them not care. He looked around to see if he could find Lucien or any other familiar face. That was Nick's go-to activity for gathering, not dedicated to himself, but find someone he knew and shadow them for the rest of the evening. In the midst of attendees, Nick eventually saw Lucien taking pictures with his camera that looked far too expensive for the cigarette in Lucien's hand to be burning so nearby, flash blazing even as there was plenty of light. Overexposure was a trademark of Lucien's photography. Nick had observed from his Instagram posts. Lucien examined the photo in the preview screen, then looked up, noticing Nick. He cocked his head and mouthed, "Are you okay?" Nick sheepishly nodded in response. Lucien shrugged and carried on taking pictures.
Whether it was 2 hours, a half hour, or only 10 minutes, Nick felt that even the security of his mask no longer sufficed as the inevitable overwhelm he felt at these sorts of gatherings began to set in. He made his way to the stairs, inadvertently rubbing against many partygoers on the way, and found his way into the apartment. Though the gathering had begun inside when the number of attendees was much smaller, it was currently dark and empty. There was some light shining on the windows, not sunlight at this hour, but the artificial glow of the city. He wandered over to the small red bathtub curiously placed in Lucien's kitchen that currently served as a home for liquor bottles. Surrounded by melting ice, gazing at what he could see of his reflection, he toyed with some of the ice cubes that floated at the surface. He meandered over to Lucien's black leather couch, seating himself next to a cushion with the image of a pair of red lips with a blue and white pill between them. Nick took off his face mask as he leaned back, no longer needing to hide his face or in need of the comfort that it once had provided. There was a comfort in this isolation, even with the crush of people so nearby.
I can take over.
Okay.
Sometime later, Lucien entered the apartment. He did not even bother turning on a light as he walked directly to a table next to his couch and reached into a drawer. He apparently noticed Nick out of the corner of his eye as he turned to look at him. Nick. Hi. Nick breathed meekly. You sure you're okay? Yeah, I just wanted to be alone for a while. Alright. Just wanted to make sure you didn't take too many poppers or something. Lucien responded as he put what Nick now saw was a cigarette carton into his pocket. As he started to walk away, Nick grabbed his arm. Wait, Nick said. Don't go yet. Okay. Lucien exhaled. I thought you wanted to be alone. Lucien sat down on the couch, to which Nick responded by moving closer. The silhouette of a slender man in him in the dark was a sight he sorely missed. I guess I changed my mind. Nick lightly set his head on Lucien. At 5'10", Lucien was still taller than himself, though not as much as Jaden, so this did not require the amount of effort he was accustomed to. Is that so? You can continue it.
Lucien placed a hand under Nick's chin as he turned to him, guiding his face upward before lowering his mouth onto his. Nick did not prefer the acrid taste of cigarettes, but the sensation of glasses grazing his face kept him from turning away. Though this was not Nick's first kiss by a long shot, assuming number of kisses bore more importance than number of people kissed, he still responded with an awkward uncertainty as if he were 13 rather than 23 with his arms sloppily draped about Lucien's neck. Lucien lacked this youthful uncertainty, with one hand tangled throughout Nick's hair, pushing at the back of his head as if to propel his tongue deeper into his mouth, while the other hand aggressively grasped at his thigh. It wasn't that he didn't want to touch him, as Lucien was definitely attractive, and the remnants of the crush he'd had on him when he was about 20 still lingered. But a part of him felt that this was somehow unfaithful.
So I've got some bad news, Posty.
Yeah?
I'm probably gonna have to dip at this point, so you're gonna have to read the Nick Fuentes /fiction yourself.
Alright, well, this... if that's the case, this will be the last thing that I read, and then I'm gonna probably dip as well.
Yeah, I got other stuff to do, so...
And for that,
sorry to leave you in the lurch.
And for that, I am slightly jealous of you. So go and do your other things.
Okay, all right. Okay, bye.
Bye, Frank.
Bye, buddy.
Bye. Oh, fuck it, you owe him nothing. Nick told himself about the person still lingering in the back of his mind as he leaned back and pulled Lucien's lanky build over himself, to which Lucien responded by setting his shins astride Nick's lap. Nick lowered his arms and grabbed onto Lucien's hips to push him down and apply pressure to his budding erection, as Lucien was pretty light and his weight alone didn't provide much. How had he maintained this slim build in his 30s, Nick wondered. Nick had long been a fan of that sort of build, but rarely saw it outside of boys and videos on the internet that claimed they had just turned 18. How did all these rich New Yorkers stay like this? Maybe they really did all do androchrome. Maybe that was what was in those little bottles they all took sniffs out of. Nick's wandering mind came back into focus when Lucien broke away from his mouth for a breath, a string of saliva catching between them. So, Lucien began, voice surprisingly calm and steady. What do you want to do? In that moment, Nick was paralyzed. He was not used to discussing these things before the fact, at least not aloud. With Jaden, they had just done whatever spontaneously, as discussing it ahead of time would have made it feel too real. From the handful of guys he had hooked up with from the apps back when his profile was still low enough that he felt he could get away with that, everything was usually planned in messages ahead of time. Talking it out in the moment required a mix of experience, intimacy, and acceptance of what was happening, and Nick had not yet had all three at once.
Can I fuck you?
Nick blurted nervously. Okay, Lucien responded plainly, starting to move off of Nick's lap. But can you stay up there for it? You want me to ride you? Lucien asked in a manner that suggested to Nick that he was trying to suppress a laugh. Yeah. Nick didn't want to verbalize his lack of experience there, or lack of confidence in his hypothetical performance abilities, though suspected on some level that Lucien probably knew. Well, put that on, Lucien told Nick, handing him what felt like a piece of foil in the dark that he recognized was a wrapped condom. I don't think I really need that, Nick awkwardly assured him. Oh, Nick, you've been hooking up with straight guys for too long. Lucien responded with a slight laugh. Come on, I'll put it on you with my mouth if you want. That won't be necessary, Nick murmured. Nick didn't bother lowering his pants all the way, let alone removing anything else, as he laid back on the couch and slid on the pre-lubricated prophylactic over his cock. It had been leaking in anticipation, but now that was hidden away. He heard rustling as Lucien untied his shoes at the other end of the couch, those formal sorts of shoes he always wore. Silhouetted in the darkness, Nick saw him take a sniff from one of the little bottles before removing his pants. Lucien crouched over him, facing away. That was a bit of a disappointment. Nick would have liked to look at him right now, or at least to the best of his abilities, in this barely lit room. It almost made up for it the moment that Lucien pushed him inside. Nick let out a gasp as the tight grasp came down around his cock. Nick absent-mindedly sat up slightly before Lucien placed a hand on his chest, in part to push Nick back and in part to steady himself as he began to rock back and forth. The motion sent shockwaves through Nick. He felt slightly ashamed of the whimpers that emanated from himself in response. He grabbed onto Lucien's rolling hips. He was still wearing his shirt, the long-sleeved white button-up with a pattern that looked like microphotography of chromosomes. Nick slid his hand under Lucien's shirt and up his back. He took his other hand and reached for his cock, though Lucien pushed it away. You don't have to do that. Are you sure this is enough? Lucien whined. Nick whined a bit more pathetically than he would have liked. Do I feel good to you? Yeah, sure, Lucien responded quickly. Just stop talking. Nick quieted himself as Lucien carried on. He arched his back as he inhaled, the couch's scent of expensive leather mixed with stale cigarettes filling his nostrils. It was always that juxtaposition with these rich people, their luxuries inextricably linked to their vices. He pushed his hips forward, fingers pressing into Lucien's torso when... Shit. All too soon, Nick found himself lurching forward in that familiar way. Oh, I'm sorry, Nick panted. It's okay, it happens, Lucien assured him as he climbed off of him. He grabbed the waste bucket under the end table and held it out for Nick to throw the condom out. It was my first time doing that, Nick admitted. Lucien seemed barely reactive as he set the wastebasket back and grabbed his pants off the floor in the process. I figured, Lucien replied as he started pulling his pants on. Wait, Nick said, stopping him. You didn't get the finish yet. Oh, I already did today, Lucian responded curtly. So? I'm not in my 20s anymore, Lucian told Nick with a slight laugh, standing to finish putting his pants on in the process. He turned to head out. Can't you stay with me a bit longer? Nick pleaded. I have a party to get back to, Lucian insisted before leaning down to kiss the top of Nick's head, though in a way that felt more like being kissed goodnight by his parents than that of a lover. We'll talk later, okay? Nick laid back on the couch as Lucian left, post-orgasmic fatigue taking over his body. There was also that sense of shame and remorse that sometimes followed. What was wrong? He liked Lucian, didn't he? He'd spent the better part of 2018 jerking off to his thirst traps on Instagram. The person he was then would have been thrilled to know that it would leave the realm of fantasy. He had clearly enjoyed what they had done on the physical level. The contents of the condom at the bottom of the wastebasket were a testament to that. He should have been around to have captured the fancy of someone so esteemed. So why did he feel so used right now? Sure, Lucian didn't want to be his boyfriend or anything, but neither had Jaden. Stop thinking about Jaden, Nick told himself. You just got a cute rich guy's attention. Well, sort of. Right now, the cute rich guy in question was living it up with his other rich friends. With that, Nick pulled the cushion with the lips on it under his head and drifted off to sleep. How many chapters is this? Alright, so it goes on and on. Alright. Well, I think that's enough for today. I don't need to read this anymore. It's Nick Fuentes. I mean, if you don't know who Nick Fuentes is, it's probably not that interesting. But this was completed, actually, just yesterday, so I don't know. Let's see, it is 6:49 p.m. Yeah. I feel like doing something else. So, to everyone who's still here, thank you. To everyone who left already, thank you. And to anyone else who watches this later, thank you. I'm gonna go and let's see, what is this actually? Looking at the things here, US politics, freeform. Yeah, there's quite a bit in here, so I'm gonna go. But I know who Nick is, but not the other guys. Well, the other guys were basically people. I actually don't know who the fella that Nick was with in the previous scene was. I really don't know who that is. I know some of these characters from just like previous, just knowing stuff. But yeah, Lucian Wintrich. I don't know who that is actually. It's like, this is probably the kind of thing that you'd like know if you were really into this kind of stuff, but I actually don't. But yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. But yeah, I'm gonna get going, and I'll do this some other time, I suppose. All right, bye bye.